I think, like I said, I literally just think that was such a physical series. I think by the end of it, nobody else was really doing much, and I think he just got tired at some point.
Right. Now, do you remember the conversation me and you had? So when we were talking about it, right? Because you were saying, like, obviously you're a Bucks fan, so you're going with the Bucks, and I said I think it's going to come down to, will Tatum and Brown show up, or like, am I putting money on Tatum and Brown, or am I putting money on your supporting guys to do shit that's just like an anomaly, right? Like Grant Williams, what he did, that's an anomaly. That's not something you can hang your hat on. He ain't gonna do that shit. He ain't gonna do that shit in 30 minutes. So that's why I said it's like, you know, you look at guys like Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday and those guys, and you're like, you can't really put much blame on them. That's not who they are. They did. No,
you can expect more out of
guys
Drew.
Like that.
You can expect more out of. You can expect Drew. Actually, he did what he could. Game 7, we shouldn't have went 4 for 33. Like that's really what it came down to.
That definitely does not help. But I only say I don't put that much on Drew because it's like I don't look at Drew as a superstar or even a star. So it's like he's a step above role player. So I'm like, all right, well, what has Drew been doing consistently this entire series? Defense, right? So I'm like, well, as long as he's doing that to some degree, I can't really fault the man outside of that.
I mean, even though it's not, I mean, game 6, Tatum went off, but game 7, he had less than 25.
He was in a lot of foul trouble, I believe, late. Was it late in this game or late in the last game? It had to be
late game 7. I don't know how many he had.
I think so. No, but to be fair, if you're Jason Tatum, I don't really need to do much when my fucking role player just went for 27 points.
Fair. And that's, I think it was that. And then outside of, I'm looking at the box score now. I couldn't remember the scoring. Mm-hmm. Outside of Giannis and Drew, Brook Lopez had 15, and that was really it. Yeah. Like the people who we brought in to shoot threes went. So, well, you're figuring I'm including Drew in it, but he's not really brought in for threes. But between him, Grayson Allen, Wesley Matthews, those are the guys. Pat Connaughton, all of them didn't make a three. So that's where the issue comes in. And I think I went into being confident for game 6 and 7, thinking that Middleton was going to come back. That was sort of the trending. What it seemed like it was trending towards. Mm-hmm. So when he didn't show up in 6, I was like, well, okay, it's 7. It's your last game of the season. You kind of have to. But apparently the injury was just worse than any of us ever thought.
Right. So obviously, welcome everybody to an all new episode of GVN Sports. Me and Didge love our basketball, man. We're always gonna get nerd out about basketball. We're starting a little early than we usually do because the NBA lottery is happening now, I guess, even though nothing's really started yet. But technically, it's supposed to be happening within like the next few seconds because the game is gonna start at 8:30. The rest of the world don't give a fuck about a NBA lottery. They want to watch Celtics and Heat.
I don't think the advertisers care about the NBA lottery.
I was about to say. I'm gonna even be really honest with you. Because you're a Bucks fan, I would argue you probably don't even give a shit as much.
No, I did. I did one look to see if maybe we would have had some luck. Like if a draft pick ends up somewhere that we may get it. And when I didn't see that, I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, it where it ends.
Me and Joel are Knicks fans. This is made for us. This is like it's just like, hey, your seat's right up front. Don't even worry about it. But we got so much to break down, both with the NBA and the NFL. So Joel's not here yet. He'll be here like closer to when the game starts. So let's start with football. Let's start with football. So me and you were joking. Drew Brees. There was a rumor that Drew Brees may, he may be leaving broadcasting to possibly come back.
Right.
To an NFL career. First of all, if I'm Jameis Winston, first thing I'm telling New Orleans is not here. That motherfucker want to come back. It ain't here. Because I guarantee you what, I ain't holding no fucking clipboard. I can tell you that shit right now. To old noodle arm ass Drew Brees. I ain't holding no fucking clipboard to his ass. But me and you laughed. We were dying laughing because we were just like, Drew, you're not Brady. You're not.
And it's like, do you remember the last season you played? Like, do we have to rehash this?
Drew Brees woke up one day and was just like, why did I retire?
Yeah, like maybe he took one too many hits. Like,
I think so. And I think when he woke up and asked that, I think somebody said, I don't know why you retired. For some strange reason, we have no game film for your last 2 seasons. We can't find it. We don't know why you retired. Come on back, Drew. But Didge, what do you think about this possibility of Drew Brees making an NFL return?
I honestly thought it was just a lie. And then I actually saw his tweet. And the inclusion of I may play football again, I was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we rehashing this? We know how he went out, and I don't know if it's because he wants one more ring. I'm like, it's not like New Orleans is a quarterback away from ring. I actually don't know how, like, so, and I don't think that him coming back would be in the state that we last saw him would be that quarterback to put them over, even if they were. Right. So it's like, what are we really doing here?
Right.
Like, stick to broadcasting. You had a great career. You did a lot. You got your ring. I get you want more than one, but you got the one.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to the Hall of Fame. Just, it's over.
Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Where I can see where Drew is coming from is, if I'm Drew Brees, right, and I'm looking at the idea of me and Tom Brady are around the same age, right? We're around the same age. I think maybe you're 2 or 3 years apart, if that. I am getting mad as hell sitting in this fucking booth while this motherfucker's making NFC Championship games, Super Bowl wins at his old ass age. I'm sitting there like, well, fuck. If you could put a good enough roster around me, can I go maybe do some shit? Now,
but Tom Brady's not throwing those throws that Drew Brees has.
100% agree. I 100% agree. I personally believe Drew shouldn't come back. But what do they say in the sports world, Didge? There's a sucker every day. So there is some franchise, right? I'm telling you right now, the Falcons are sitting there like, yes.
Is he technically still under contract with New Orleans? Like, if he comes back?
He is. But I feel as though if you're New Orleans,
there's no way, yeah.
You wouldn't trade him there, but there's also no fucking way you allow him to start games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In New Orleans. No way you do that to Jameis Winston. No fucking way. No way. And if I'm Jameis Winston, no way I let you do that. As soon as I hear Drew Brees is coming back and you're interested, I'm asking you to trade me. Trade me right now. Trade me right now. No fucking way. No way. Sorry. Nah, not holding the clipboard. I've been waiting for Drew's ass to get old enough for me to take over. Now that I have taken over, you want me to take a step back? Nah, sorry. Can't do that. Nope. That's the way I felt when everyone was freaking out. They're like, oh my God, New England, they released Cam Newton. Why would you do that? You're going to start this rookie? And I said, yeah, I fucking drafted him at 15. Like, like, this isn't my 3rd round draftee that I'm like, nah, it's not bringing in Dak Prescott behind Tony Romo. That's different. If I draft you in the 1st round, let alone 15, and remember, if New England had a higher pick, they would have drafted this motherfucker higher.
Fair.
So I'm like, if I drafted you at 15,
they were thinking that New England was going to trade up.
Exactly. So I'm like, if I drafted you at 15, and here's when I knew New England wasn't going to trade up. When I saw Kyle Pitts get taken. And I'm like, New England just letting offensive weapons go, like, get selected right, like, back to back. I'm like, they don't really seem interested in weapons. They want their future quarterback.
Well, yeah, I feel like that was the people's consensus going in, is that New England was going for their quarterback. I can't remember who all was ahead of them enough that they were thinking that they would have needed to trade up, because we knew what quarterbacks were going basically 1-2.
Right.
Like, we knew they were going, and after that, I couldn't remember anyone that's like, oh, these teams absolutely need a quarterback. So this is why they were going to select before New England.
Mm-hmm. So when they selected Mac Jones and he did the Vince McMahon walk out of the tunnel, I said, that's our starter. That's our fucking starter, right?
Well, yeah, I can understand. I did think that maybe Cam, and obviously I know Cam still wants to start, but I thought he wouldn't have. You know, sometimes teams do like to do the, even if they are a high pick, let's let them, sort of learn for a year.
To me, I could accept that. Like, I could accept that if we're talking about Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua. Because you can make a case Ryan Fitzpatrick put together a winning season the year he got benched.
I mean, but even the Chargers, they were going to do it. Remember, Justin Herbert didn't start their season as a starter.
To be fair, you look at that situation and you're like, Tyrod Taylor could have possibly put together a winning season. He was looking good before the whole punctured lung. Cam Newton was almost abysmal after coming back from COVID. So
but that was the thing. It was Cam Newton he wasn't looking amazing, but he was looking okay. He was looking serviceable until COVID. So fair. I do get the sort of like, well, maybe we wait and see what happened. What if COVID didn't happen to Cam? Mm-hmm. Well, what were we going to get with that? This just gives us time to more develop our future quarterback. But
I mean, listening to Mike Reese all off season last year, not all off season, I'm sorry, towards, getting into training camp and preseason and everything, he just kept making it sound like this motherfucker Mac Jones is something else. And I was just like, something else? Like, how something else? What are we going to do with Cam? No way he holds a clipboard. It's like the more I keep hearing, like, oh, he's making great throws and he has such a connection. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening in practice every day? What's happening? Right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like Cam's released. And for me, I was just like, well, you fucking talk this kid up so much. Well, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, this fucking kid sounds awesome. So I'm like, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember when Steph Curry got drafted, right? And you're watching Monta Ellis, and you're like, Monta Ellis is fucking balling out here. He is the Warriors. He's just balling. And then Curry comes, and it's just like, you see him start to shoot a few threes, and you're just like, oh, Monta Ellis, you got to get the fuck up out of there. Like, you gotta go. There's no room for you. It's his team now. Like, this is
because remember, at first, they were gonna keep both. Because remember, Monta, they told Monta after a while, like, you might need to come off the bench. Because I remember he got traded to Milwaukee right after that. Mm-hmm. And his ego sort of led him astray, which I get it. It wasn't like he was a scrub. I don't even think his numbers were dropping by the time they were starting to
drastically.
So it was something of why should I have to come off the bench just because this young kid is doing great? Because I think at the time, Monta Ellis was known to give you at least a good 23, 24 a night.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I tell you this: if you're the Warriors, that was the best decision you ever fucking made. Where you looked at Curry, Ellis.
I remember at the time I was shocked. I was like, "Ooh."
Hey, I remember saying to my brother, "He better fucking live up to it,
right?"
He better live up to it, because oof. And then he had injuries, and it was like Monta was sitting there like, fucking told y'all, and then boom, Steph Curry, I believe, sold his soul to the devil. Boom, MVP, championships, and it was like, well, there you go. Oh, worked out.
I remember that's when we gave up Andrew Bogut. I was upset about that trade because I thought Andrew Bogut. I was like, that's what we need.
Can I just say that Milwaukee team will forever be just a fucking question mark to me. Like
that,
Brandon,
2011, 2012
because Brandon was so fucking baller, and then it disappeared, and it was just like, I don't understand.
What happened? To be honest, I remember we just missed the playoffs, and so then that year, that 2012 team, we had made the playoffs. I think we might have been the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably got put out right away. I'm sure we did. That was during the years the Heat was basically
I was about to say,
running the East. So I'm sure if we were the 8th seed, we ran right into them.
100%.
And then I don't know what happened right after that. Like that was the year.
Off.
Yeah.
Weird.
That was the year we drafted Giannis.
It was, and year. I remember when you drafted him, it was just like, the fuck is this? Like, who is this? I won't even forget the flagrant foul that Giannis was known for in his first few years. That one wild ass hit on the sideline that he did. Like, who is this guy?
I remember the one game where people here started thinking like he actually could be something. It was a preseason game, actually. Like, he didn't put up crazy numbers in it, but he was hustling. And, like, he was, like, diving for everything. And it's like, he could be something. He was a very raw product. But It's like, if he can put in the work, he could be something. And then you would always hear it, like, when people are talking on the radio, it's like, oh, he's staying late to the game. He's studying these different players. And, like, he would work. And then when Jason Kidd came in, him and Kidd were working all together.
Yeah, that was a great thing.
And then like in the offseason, he would work with Kobe. And we were like, oh man, he could be something. I don't think anybody thought it would be this, but
no. Because I remember at one point, shout out Cleveland Cavaliers are number 14.
Oh, they already started?
Yep, the Hornets are number 13. PJ don't look happy.
At all.
OKC is number 12.
Oh, you're a little ahead of me. I'm just gonna listen to you instead of turning around.
So we got God damn it, the Knicks are number 11. God damn it.
Ooh.
We can't get fucking what's his name from Utah with that shit. Washington is number 10. And don't nobody smiling during this shit.
I mean, to be fair, you only there because your team was trash.
But you about to get a franchise player. Spurs are number 9.
Spurs are 9. That's what they had in the mock. Okay.
Yep, they're number 9. Let's see. Pelicans are number 8, but that's their pick from the Lakers. So shout out Lakers.
No, I think that goes to. Doesn't that go to? I thought he gets traded if it was lower than 10.
Portland is number 7. It's not lower than 10. They have 8. Oh,
yeah,
you mean 10. Yeah. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Trailblazers are number 7. Shout out to Chauncey. Pacers are number 6.
Okay.
Bonus is probably giving them the middle finger. All right, we're heading to number 5. I'm really pissed that we were fucking number 11. God damn it. Pistons are number 5. Okay, they deserve a top 5 pick. Shout out to them. Shout out to Rip Hamilton.
They could have been 3. That's what they had them projected.
So it looks like Kings, OKC, Magic, and Rockets are your top 4. They haven't released like the order yet, but those are your top 4. Yeah, and then now they're going to commercial break. Like, this is fucking Jerry Springer. Just fucking show me the 4. But man, I really hate that for the Knicks. I can't get Donovan Mitchell with number 11. What the hell?
Yeah, you probably can.
No, man. If I'm Utah, I'm going. Draft picks ain't enough now. You got a top 5. Yeah, sure.
Because you got to figure now they're gonna if he demands a trade, you're a little bit better at getting it.
Probably, but I do know this now. Now that we have 11, Utah is bending us over a barrel for our players. 100%. They're bending us over for some players.
You might get Johnny Davis though. He's out of Wisconsin. I don't know if you said you don't watch college basketball. That's right.
I don't, but I have heard that name. But Johnny, I want Donovan Mitchell. So
I mean, but Johnny Davis is a small forward, so it's like you should.
I'm assuming we have to get rid of our draft pick of this year's draft.
Oh yeah, that's fair. You probably are.
So I want Donovan Mitchell. So unless he's LeBron James II, I want Donovan Mitchell. I want Donovan Mitchell over anybody in this draft, next year's draft, or the draft after. I want Donovan Mitchell. My brothers asked me that, like, nah, you don't want to see, like, if we can get. I want Donovan Mitchell. I don't believe in none of these children. I want Donovan Mitchell. Simple.
I mean, I think this should be a pretty decent draft. Chet Holmgren, if he can bulk up, he was playing pretty decent at Gonzaga. He definitely would need to bulk up. So, so we'll see. We'll definitely see what comes out of that. I I'm interested to see who's going to get that number one pick because right now, Chet, he's the consensus number one, but that might get switched up.
Yeah, I mean,
started talking college basketball while you went away.
No. Like I said, I think the biggest thing for me is college anything. Let me take it out of just basketball, so it doesn't seem like I'm picking on basketball. It just seems like there's so much stuff to keep up with, right? Like especially football when it's like Pac-10 and this and that, and it's I
love me some college football.
I don't know what I'm looking at, bro.
I used to live for that. I used to live for game days. Like I didn't even go to a major college, and I used to live for waking up, going to game day. Like my school was a MAC school, and I still lived for game day. And what was great about it being a MAC school, sometimes game day would be like the Tuesday night, so I'd be leaving class. It's like, all right, instead of going home to my dorm, right to the football field. We're going to tailgate.
I respect it. People always spoke highly of like just the atmosphere of like a college game. I respect it completely. Like I said, I barely can keep up with the major leagues. And it's like, now I got to keep up with the kids and the major leagues. No way I could do both.
I can definitely keep up better with college football than basketball because at least with college football, D1 is split. So it's like you got your major D1, it's like what is it, FBS and then FCS, where it's like D1 college basketball is all of those schools. I think there's like 115 schools. I'm good on that. At least with D1 college football, I think there's like 10, there's 5 major conferences and then 5 smaller conferences.
All that sounds so foreign to me. So foreign to me. I don't know what you're saying. I took all of it as curse words. I didn't know what was going on just now. But no, I do understand how enjoyable it is and how someone could enjoy it more than the pros or as much as the pros. So I'll never knock it. It's just one of those things where it's like maybe closer to when it's like a bowl game or, March Madness where it's more contained. I'm good. I can keep up with that. But outside of that, I can't. All right. So we're back for our final 4 picks. They're going to drag this out literally till 8:30.
Oh, for sure. Probably a little after because, they got to do all the in arena, national anthem, all of that stuff.
Yep. All right. So let's see who we got at number 4. Number 4 is the Kings. Okay. Good pick for them. Help rebuild that sorry roster. Number 3 is the Rockets. Not bad for them. I like a lot of that young talent they got on that roster.
But they had the worst. They had the best odds. That sucks for them a little bit.
OKC number 2 and number 12. And obviously Orlando is number 1. Now, see, I always said this to Joel, and look, I get it. I completely get it. I understand why it makes sense, but I will forever hate that great players are forced to go to bad franchises. I hate it. Because you look at some of these kids and you're just like, oh my God, that team is hot doo-doo buns. Bro, look how long Devin Booker's been in Phoenix for Phoenix to get it right.
I mean, but then it's gonna turn into almost what you hate about college sports, that it's almost a free-for-all. And it's always, well, granted, the NBA, it's really the same teams regardless, but it's going to be even more of that because more likely than not, a top draft pick like a Zion coming out 2 years ago wasn't going to be like, oh, well, let me go to New Orleans where there was nobody.
He would have went to the Knicks. Exactly.
He would not. I don't think he would have went to the Knicks. He probably
100% would have went to the Knicks.
He probably wouldn't have.
I tell you what, this summer when he asked out of New Orleans and asked to go to New York, that'll answer that question for you.
So you are those Knicks fans who are on Twitter, who every player who's somewhat up for free agency or something, you're photoshopping them in the Knicks jersey.
No, not usually. I don't believe in that. I stopped that when Durant and Kyrie didn't come to New York. I stopped that. I said, no more. Never again.
You say that like that was so long ago. That was like 2 seasons ago.
It was. And that's why I said, no, never again. Never again will I let my heart be open to these MFers that just keep dodging the hardest test in the NBA. No, thank you.
Do you think New York is the hardest test?
1,000%.
You think it's harder than LA?
1,000%.
Really? I'm interested.
1,000%.
I'm interested.
Here's why. Here's why. If LeBron retires tomorrow, nobody heaps pressure on Anthony Davis. Anybody from good to great to mediocre that comes to the Mecca and is primed to be the star player, the franchise guy, they will never rest if that team's not winning basketball games. Never rest.
I think I disagree. LA, the glitz and glamour, the one of arguably the marquee franchise. Like, I can understand if you were saying the Clippers, sure, but going to the Lakers as a star, you're always expected. I think that's why I don't know.
It's different.
I don't know.
Knicks won one game and we got bing bong. Like, that's how much basketball means to Knicks fans. LA, they missed the playoffs. It's like, oh, we got LeBron. Oh, we'll get it next year.
No, that is not what it's
the end of the world.
So you're coming at it. So you're saying I'm saying from basketball as a whole. I think people put more pressure on somebody who goes to the Lakers than the Knicks. Now, from the specific fan base perspective, you might be right. LA, they don't seem to care too much about a lot of stuff because there's so much to do in LA.
Really? Because I remember drafting Frank, it being shitted on. I remember drafting KP, it being shitted on. I remember drafting Knox, it being shitted on. I remember drafting
Let's not act like the Lonzo pick wasn't shitted on.
Lonzo pick wasn't shitted on.
Yes, it was. They were saying he was overreached. There was so much talk about that Lonzo shouldn't have been as high.
And you must have ignored Kristaps Porzingis being drafted.
I remember that as well.
Come on. Well. There's no comparisons, bro. When Kristaps got drafted, everybody was just like, who?
That was more so of a foreign-born player versus. I mean, Lakers don't really pick too many foreign-born players now that I can think about it.
All I'm saying is everyone says that if you come to the Knicks and you win a championship, you get a statue. You get a statue immediately. You don't. But that's what I'm saying.
That's from the specific fan base. I can understand if you're going just from Knicks fans versus Lakers fans. I'm saying basketball coverage as a whole, I feel like they put more pressure on the glitz and glam of LA.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're saying, but I still disagree. I believe they get more coverage because it's a storied franchise it's just used to winning. It's a winning culture, right? So when you lose, it's like,
that puts the pressure. But I think that puts the pressure.
Here's why the pressure is bigger on the Knicks. And Joel's about to join in, so I'm curious how he views this. But the reason why the pressure is on the Knicks is they haven't won in so long. So every notable star
pressure.
No, every notable star is given so much pressure because it's like, well, now you're the guy.
But it's like it's not expected of you because, like you said,
that's not true. That's not true, bro. The Knicks were only 4th place last year. And you had the entire ESPN crew opening game talking about the Knicks like we were the Heatles. Like, all right, now the focus is on. True. All right, now it's Tom. Show
that is true. I do.
And it's like, bro, we were only 4th seed. We weren't the number 1 seed. Like, what is all this pressure? You got young kids here.
Look at even how LA was last year. Look at. And some of that, of course, is the LeBron. I said some of that, of course, is the LeBron effect. But even before that, during the later Kobe years, it was always, what's wrong with LA? During the years when they didn't have anybody, that like 3-4 year span, whatever you want to call it, it was, oh my God, when is LA going to reach back to the mountaintop? It was, I feel like.
I like that you said that. Because what goes to your point is LA's pressure has always been the player, not the place, right? The pressure is on the player. The pressure is on the player. Because there was no pressure on Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma.
Sure, there was. They were Lakers. It comes to the when you. I feel like when you go there, like I can't see. I think the culture of winning that LA had. I think they've won 17. I think they've been to 33 finals. Mm-hmm. You come to be expected, and it's like.
But here's what I'm saying. As a media. If the Lakers have 3 bad seasons, right? You look at it like this is a franchise that'll get it back together. They always have. They'll go spend some money, go get a guy, fix it. The Knicks have been bad for so long. When the media thinks they have something in New York. It's now, all right, look, I know you're only 13 years old. Go win a championship for the Knicks. And it's like,
I don't know if that's
like what? Like Goo Goo Gaga? Like what the hell are you talking about?
More so. I feel like it was more so like, oh, the Knicks got something. It's like the excitement.
It is harder to win in the Garden in New York than it is anywhere else in the NBA. It's why players duck it. It's why players duck it.
I think it's just as hard, if not harder, to be a Laker. Now,
because I'm looking at it right now, and nobody all of last year was putting as much pressure on Anthony Davis as they were Julius Randle. That's
yes, they were. Yes, they were. They were. Whole thing was about, can he stay healthy? Can he do this? Can he do that? Like, come on, man.
Bruh, Julius Randle took the Knicks from 4th to no playoffs. The pressure was 100% more so on Julius Randle than it was Anthony Davis.
No,
100% more.
It was always hurt. It was like, why can't he stay healthy? That was the huge thing on it. Oh, he's not ready for the bright lights. We can look at Russell Westbrook. We talked about how his numbers wasn't that much different from the year before, and people were treating him like he fell off a mountaintop. And it's like, no, he's just in LA. Like,
and all I'm saying is, if Russell Westbrook this offseason goes to New York, you think that won't be worse?
Well, now it's there. So now you have to. Now the stench is on him, so to speak. But if he would have went to, if he would have did that same thing, no, I'm sorry. I feel like I cut you off.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I was going to say, if Russell Westbrook, if he would have went to New York, had this exact same season without the trip to LA in between, I don't think it would have been. I don't think the notoriety would have been on him as much.
All I'm saying is, you're not wrong in the idea of being a Laker means more than being a Wizard or OKC, or where else did he fucking go? Houston. I get that. But what I'm saying is, being a Knick is something people purposely dodge, right? DeMar DeRozan was eager to go to LA. So many players are eager to go to LA.
Do you think that was the city, or if it's the management?
No. Here's why I never accept the happenstance of management. What was Phoenix all these years since Nash left? What was Phoenix?
I mean, but a lot of their players, until very, very recently, a lot of their stuff was homegrown.
But do you see how a quick turnaround that could be? Just a quick turnaround. All they changed was their GM, not the owner, just the GM. We've changed our GM.
But the people have been saying that the owner is also the problem. But he has the Washington Commanders effect on him.
Yes, but when you look at today's team, do you see that being the narrative for Phoenix? Is the owner's a problem? No one wants to go play in Phoenix.
But I'm saying that's the problem for the Knicks, though.
But I'm saying you change the GM, right?
And you think that you think that goes away.
I think because you change the GM, people aren't trying to hide from the Knicks like they used to. I think now it just comes down to no one wants that pressure. To be the king of New York is something completely drastically different than anything else in sports. To be the king of New York? They say it's the greatest arena in all of basketball. I mean, to be the king of New York.
I've never been to Madison Square Garden. That's probably true.
Oh, Didge, we got to get you out here, bro. We got to get you out.
I know, I got to get out to New York.
We got to get you out here, bro. Oh, please let me know when you come out. Me, you, and Joel got to do a game.
For sure.
Got to do a game. But, bro, it is 100% harder to play. And I'll even give you a better example. Odell, the circus around him in New York and the circus around him in Cleveland. Completely different monsters. The expectations.
You're comparing New York and Cleveland. Like, what? Come on now. We know New York isn't Cleveland.
Okay.
When he went to LA, that circus was back.
No, the circus was not back because the expectations drifted.
That's also because of probably the bad stint in Cleveland.
Right.
But the circus was still there.
All I'm saying is it is definitely, if players are ducking to play there, because to me, it's like an owner only has as much power as the player allows, right? So if a whole bunch of really good players come out and go, look, I'll come there. You just can't be the problem when I sign. Because here's the thing. Since the new ownership is taking over, not an actual owner, you know what I mean, GM and whatnot, you've not heard his name in anything. You've not heard Dolan's name about anything. Like, Dolan got in the way of this and got in the way of that. He's been very hands-on.
I think he kind of has that. Like I said, he kind of has the Dan Snyder effect. There's some owners that no matter what, you kind of feel like they got their hand a little in too much. I mean, Robert Kraft, you hear that sometimes when things go awry in New England. He might have his hands a little bit too much. Steinbrenner used to be the same.
I just believe if you are a star player and you are still saying that today, it's just because you don't want to play in New York. It's just too much. And that's okay. That is okay. It's why we get the Amari Stoudemire's, the Julius Randles, and then have to wish upon a star for the RJs and stuff like that. It's not built for everyone. That's cool. We get it. LeBron ducked it twice. We get it. And then him and Dwayne Wade tried to say, the money wasn't right. The money wasn't right. You're telling me you weren't a Knick because the money wasn't right? Come on, Dwayne Wade. We know you're lying.
Well,
it was just easier to win in Miami.
Dwayne Wade case, it could have been true because you get more money if you resign with your team than if you go somewhere else.
Completely get it. But what I'm saying is, if that's the case, New York couldn't have paid you any more than Miami. But for you, in that moment, you were saying it was about winning. I want titles. I'm tired of just making the first round and getting bounced out.
Yeah, but if his guy is like, hey, I'll go there, you got your. I mean, because I'm sure New York and Miami probably offer LeBron around the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if it came down to that, and he's like, Dwayne don't want to go because of the money. Money wasn't right. LeBron didn't say it was his money that wasn't right.
They were ducking, bro. They were ducking. It's okay. It's okay.
And
it's the Mecca for a reason.
You could be right. I'm not saying it's easy to win in New York. Obviously, I don't think it is in any sport. But I really do think that it's just as difficult, if not a little bit more, because of the team to win as a Laker.
I don't know, man. Look, Joel's here rocking the Knicks hat. We got the number 11th. I already cried for us, Joel. But the conversation we're in right now, I was just texting you to prepare you for it before you came in. But so me and Didge were going back and forth. I was saying, Joel, and again, we're biased. So let me put that out there. I'm biased. I don't want to speak for Joel. I'm biased. But I'm saying people duck New York to play for the Knicks because it is literally, NBA-wise, the hardest job to do. To play in New York and to be the savior for the Knicks is hard. Didge was making the argument. He believes it's just as hard, if not harder, to be a Laker than it is to be a Knick. And I believe that people are literally ducking from playing with the Knicks for a reason. They understand the responsibility and no one wants to step up to it. It's why we literally were willing to name the arena after Carmelo Anthony when he wanted to be here. Like, what? No one wants to be here. What? Like, this is your home now. So, Joel, I want to stop talking, pass it to you. Which do you think is harder, to be a Laker or to be a Knick?
Oof, that's a tough one because Lakers is hard, mainly because they've won so damn much. So even winning one championship is never going to be enough. You know what I mean? But you know, I win one here, and we'll fucking, it'll be the king of the fucking city. That's what we got.
See? See?
I'll love you forever, ever. But I guess that's what makes it harder to be a Laker because like there's definitely more expectations, and like you can win and still never live up to those expectations. You know what I mean? Whereas as long as we're good, if we don't win a championship, that sucks. But if we're like, look, we still love Carmelo, and he only got us in the second round. You know what I mean? And it was only for like really that we had a 3-year span where we were really good, and then like the rest of his tenure was kind of like, you know what I mean?
So the argument I made to Didge was the reason why I viewed it as harder for the Knicks is, to me, I get what you're saying, but I feel as though what you're saying for Lakers is more so a fan reaction. I was telling Didge, opening night of Knicks Celtics, you had Stephen A. and Michael Wilbon talking about the Knicks like we had the 1 seed last year and came from a championship. Like, all right, now this is it. This is it. All the pressure's on you. Can you live? It's like we were 4 seed, Stephen. What do you mean? Can we live up to it? We were only 4th seed. Like, relax a little bit. So to me, the pressure is always heightened. I believe, and look, I said I'm biased, but I believe that the pressure is heightened for the Knicks because you've been bad so much. So when it seems like you're good, it's now like, okay, championship is on there. And it's like, bro, we just got good. Relax. Like, can we build something?
Well, it's not easy being a Knick. I mean, mainly because you're always getting talked about, even when you're not, when you don't matter, you still get talked about. It's like, and for no reason, just because they know it gets attention, and we're gonna talk about it. So that's what they want. They want us to talk about it. Like, we just poke the bear a little bit, and we'll get more views that way.
Right. Like, I was telling Didge, I felt as though Julius was given more pressure than Anthony Davis this year. Why? Because being in the Mecca, being looked at as the guy,
he did that to himself.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying the pressure was definitely mounted for Julius Randle. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Didge.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I still don't agree. I think so much pressure was put on Anthony Davis and that Lakers team as a whole because one, not only did they supposedly retool, it was also okay. Yeah, you got that 1 championship, like Joel was saying before. The 1 championship in LA is like, okay, that's cool. Do it again. Like,
that ain't shit, bro.
You know, you always get told, oh yeah. Sure, you won 1 championship. Shaq won 3. Kobe won 5. Right.
Now, look at what you just said. Now, picture it from the other side. You were the 4th seed next year. To the media, you can't be any lower than that the following season. You can't be any lower than that, right? As opposed to you look at the West and you're like, all right, the West just retools and gets better and better each year, right? You look at the East and you're like, say it again.
So not this year.
What, the West got better?
No, the West didn't get better this year.
Yeah. I kind of feel competition-wise, like the Grizzlies weren't this good last year. They were this year.
The West overall is worse than the East.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Record-wise, you're talking record-wise.
Yeah, talking about record.
Yeah, okay. I get you.
We would have made the playoffs over there.
We would have.
We made the play-in still.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, wait a minute, hold on. What was our record? We would have made it. What?
For sure, you would have been the 8th seed. It would have been the 9th seed.
Okay, 9th seed. Yeah,
you see what I mean?
We would have been 8th.
You see what I mean? We were 11th.
So yeah, I mean, look, we see it differently. We can move on now. I just wanted to get Joel's take on it. But
oh yeah, that was a fun topic though.
No, I enjoy this topic because look, we see it differently. We will continue to see it differently. But look, I tell you what, next year will be the test. Next year will be the test. Let the Knicks get a big name, right? Let them get a big name and let the Lakers keep a semblance of that same roster, obviously moving around a few pieces. Right. Let's see whose feet is really to the fire next year. Let's see.
It's easily going to be Lakers because it's LeBron. It's tough because the LeBron effect, but it's like clear. It's going to be.
It was huge disappointment from the Lakers' perspective. They were supposed to be champions, bro.
Right.
Make the playoffs. That was the worst. Like, that's why I'm like being in that situation. Really, don't get me wrong. I don't feel bad for them. There's so many championships. Oh, boo-hoo, you missed the playoffs. But for them, a team that they had Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, that's playoff ready, right?
Even if they would have made the playoffs, and they would say if they would have lost where Dallas or where Memphis lost last, say if they had the exact same season Memphis had, it still would have been talked at. It would have been talked as an immense failure. Yep. Because it was LA. Whereas from what Joel is saying, remember the Carmelo years, the Knicks made it to what was that they made it to the conference finals one of the years?
No.
Or the second round?
Second round.
And Knicks fans, from what I'm hearing from you guys, are looking back in those years so fondly.
Yeah.
Whereas those Lakers fans,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I look back at those times more fondly for just that 1 year, but more so because we had a superstar than anything else. You know what I'm saying? It was more so just like we fucking had Carmelo Anthony. We wasted a hell of a bunch of years.
You know, we were the second seed that
year. Right. But all right, let's move on. Joel, I wanted to open it up for you to before we move on. Did you want to speak on the Knicks having the 11th pick?
11th pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I'm happy we didn't fall down. So like as long as we didn't fall down, I think I was gonna be happy. It's very far fetched to think we would have jumped from 11 to the top 5. We had like what 4% chance of that happening.
Okay. I'm glad you weren't here when me and Didge were talking. That's exactly where I was hoping we landed.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were slated for the 11th pick the way he was talking.
The first thing I said is, I can't get Donovan Mitchell with number 11. What the hell?
You came in very level-headed. I thought the way that Juwaan was talking, I was like, oh, okay. Clearly, you guys were slated for like a top 5 pick.
Yearly basis, bro.
I said I can't get Donovan Mitchell with number 11. I can't get jiggy with this shit. What is this? What? Come on, man. Give me
it's so hard to come out of that top. Like, once you're like past 10, you know how hard is the fall? It's so uncommon.
That's what I always love and hate about the Knicks is that they'll start a season off, right? Where you're like, oh, they're good. They're chugging. And then they'll tail off. And then you're like, I can't get a reasonable draft pick now. You won the first half and then completely tried to fall off in the second half. We're going to be middle of the road. Pick a lane. Win all or win nothing. Like, come on, man. Stop doing this to me year after year.
Yeah, but even when we had the best chance to win it, which was the worst record, we ended up with 4.
Three.
Still fucking annoying, bro.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I'm looking at. Oh, and wait, I was telling Didge, Joel, you believe this during that lottery, that draft lottery. You believe Zion wanted to be a Knick. He wasn't happy when the Pelicans.
I still think he wants to be a Knick.
Zion's face was like
that was kind of.
He was like,
he was like, can we play another year, Duke? No.
He could have, but it would have been stupid.
Yeah, 100% would have been. He was like, oof, anything but this. Memphis, y'all want me? No.
I remember Zach LaVine's face when he got drafted by Minnesota. He was
he's just like
head went down.
He was like, I don't know who I wronged, but I'm sorry. Like whoever I wronged, I'm sorry. Because I was telling Didge, I'm like, man, I was watching that man's face diligently, and there was no happiness. And it was like Pelicans number 1. He was like,
I mean, Steph Curry wanted to be a Knick, so it's not like it's a thing. It happens. It's just they never get to us. We're always one pick behind the 2.
And you know what always happens, Joel? I feel like this always happens. We don't get that said pick, right? And then that said pick wants to stay their career with that one franchise, and it's like, damn, you didn't want to leave just once in your prime? Like, come here for a day?
Was their last number 1 pick really 85?
Yeah.
Jesus, really?
We haven't moved up.
Remember that? You don't remember the Patrick Ewing, the ice ball or whatever they called it?
No, I knew that. But I could have sworn that you guys would have had it since then.
No, because I keep trying to tell you the Knicks are a franchise that is middle of the road. They won't pick a lane. They won't either just win it all where it doesn't matter or lose it all where we can get the damn number 1 pick.
Like I said, when we do, it still doesn't matter. We've never moved up.
To be fair, Joel, if they hadn't changed the drafting rules, it would have mattered that year when we had the worst pick, but because they changed it up.
But in 90, this is 85. We've had a lottery, so it's like, you know how it's going to work, you know. And then even with that, it just doesn't matter. The top 3 were always going to be, you know, the best chance.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just frustrating, you know.
I still look back at that draft lottery like, y'all got to have some kind of mulligan. No way a franchise that wasted Anthony Davis gets the rebound with Zion. I think not. No, thank you.
Orlando won it this year, right? They got the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah, they got the number 1.
That'll be the 4th time they've had the number 1 pick.
Yep.
Cleveland gets it a lot too. I'm looking at the history for teams draft lotteries. Remember when Cleveland had it back to back?
Do you remember when it felt like Philly had that shit 6 years in a row? Like got like Nerlens,
look at theirs.
Embiid,
They did though, because they were.
But Embiid was a 3 pick.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean, like a top 5 lottery pick is what I'm saying. Like they never outside of the lottery. They were always.
He was the trust the process. He was part of the process.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm like, bro, what does Philly have on the commissioner? Like, damn, what?
Cleveland
Here's why
Cleveland was
Cleveland.
the one.
Here's why Cleveland should have
They
never
had
gotten
multiple
another.
number
Here's
one.
why Cleveland should have never gotten another number one pick. No way in hell you get a number one pick and draft Anthony Bennett and get back into the lottery. No way. You forfeit at that point. You forfeit.
Oh, that's why they had to get it back.
Like, bro, you just get to squander. Yo, they got so many picks. They were just like, well, we can waste one a year, right? Like, this is our year to
it's
waste
not like
one.
they didn't do much with theirs. I'm looking at it now because that right after LeBron left, they did 4-4-1-1. That was the next 4 years, and
That's
they did
great.
Tristan Thompson,
You're right,
Deion
yeah.
Waiters, Anthony Bennett, and Andrew Wiggins. They
Now,
didn't do too
think
much
about
with it.
this. Now, think about this, Didge. They
Whoa.
flipped all that bullshit, got LeBron, won a championship. Think about that. Think about being mediocre for forever, then flipping it, getting the best player in the NBA, winning a championship.
Yeah, the best guy they drafted out of that was Kyrie. Wiggins became fucking love.
Yeah, and then they
Deion
won a
Waiters-
championship with it.
Okay. Yeah, they ended up winning a championship with it.
Tristan Thompson, I believe, was a vital piece of that championship run. He was a
was.
great rebounder for them when
Him
LeBron
and-
wasn't
Fair.
rebounding.
Him and Kyrie were good for them.
Right. So, I mean, again, it's just like, bro, we continue to get shafted at every possible chance when it comes to this draft. That's why it's like, bro, if we get – that's why people don't understand when they make fun of Knicks fans, like, oh, my God, you guys always want whatever name sounds fancy. And it's like, we don't get nothing. Nothing. Like, let us have something, even if it's a dream. Let us have that. We literally.
I don't really understand the hate that we get. I don't understand at all. Like, what do we do to you? Nothing. We've been harmless forever.
Didge, not yesterday, but like a week or two ago, I was watching This Just In, the Max Kellerman. I think that's the Max Kellerman show that he does. Bruh, this was a person segue. Listen to this, Didge. Yeah, and let's talk about let's get into football. And it's like, oh man, this team couldn't be more of a disaster. And it's like, well, you could be the Knicks. How did we? What? Like, where did that come from?
Well, Max Kellerman, he's a huge Knicks
Max
fan.
is a hater though.
But I'm saying, like, it's
Isn't he a
not
Knicks
even
fan?
just
Or is he a Brooklyn fan?
Was a Knicks fan.
was
Okay.
a Knicks fan, right? Like Stephen A. Smith was a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah.
I thought he still is.
He is, but
We kicked
that's
him out.
questionable.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair.
He's
That's fair.
not in our group no more. You can have him if you want.
We don't claim him, but yeah,
No, I'm okay.
He
claims
slobs
that.
on Giannis. You can have him if
No,
you
he
want.
doesn't. He's such a he hates Milwaukee. I'm okay on him.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Didge, I did want to tell you about this one really quick fun thing that I tried yesterday. So I'm playing 2K, right?
Okay.
And it just dawned on me like really randomly out of nowhere. I think I was watching something that gave me the idea. But I took all the teams from 2000s and up, like all the Legends teams.
Oh yeah.
And I took 1 star from today's team, from today's rosters, and put them on those old school teams. So like AI, he now has Embiid, right? Like Shaq and Kobe. I fought this. I swear to God, I fought this. But Shaq and Kobe now has LeBron.
Oh my God, I know that was a disaster.
It was. The Denver Nuggets now have Jokic, right? And like I got up to the Knicks with, obviously Melo, Stoudemire, and then for some strange reason, nobody else of name is on that fucking roster outside of the starting lineup and like 3 people off the bench.
Okay.
Everyone else is just like created. So I took RJ of today and put him with that roster. And can I just say, RJ and Melo fucking mesh well. In the high pick and roll between Stoudemire and RJ Barrett, beautiful. But the one that I really fell in love with is I put Curry of today on the Golden State, the B. Diddy Golden State.
Oh wow.
Oh my God.
He was on that fucking roster already.
He was. Why'd you fold your arms like that?
Why were you upset about it?
Because they had B. Diddy. They didn't need fucking Steph Curry.
The way you just said, they did fucking have him. Like,
He was
fuck
on
guy.
that roster. At the end of that version
That
of the
specific,
award.
yes, I was about to say that specific year he wasn't though. It was that next year that he was there.
Yeah.
But I love the way
Talk about
Steven
playing
Jackson.
small. They played small as fuck.
Bruh,
Yeah.
Joel, I was trying not to say what my starting 5 was, but that 5 was definitely Curry, Ellis, Matt Barnes, Al Harrington. No, I'm sorry, Steven Jackson, and then Al Harrington at the 5.
They played Al Harrington
Jeez.
center, yeah.
Yeah, that was my 5.
I mean, we did too occasionally, but not often.
Not often enough. But yeah, definitely try that, Didge, because that's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna try it.
That's a lot of fun.
I liked Al Harrington. I forgot about Al Harrington.
I liked Al Harrington a lot. Oh, one thing NBA Legends they have to do in the next 2K with the NBA Legends teams is they got to open it up more, bro. I was looking to put Giannis on a team. You know, I had to put this motherfucker in 1984. Like that's like one of the only few
books.
They only have a few Bucks rosters outside of obviously all time, and then 84 and I think one more year.
Oscar one,
right? Yeah. So I'm like, I had to put him there, and I'm like, God damn!
I'm surprised that 01 team was one game away from the finals.
01?
You don't have it there.
Yeah, that was the year. That was the year we took. We took Philadelphia to 7. That was when we had that was our big 3 then was Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Big Dog Glenn Robinson.
Oh my God. We ended up with Big Dog Glenn Robinson.
I was actually I went to a bunch of games that playoff run. We were one game away from the finals, and I mean you hear around here the refs caused us that game 7, but we ended up losing.
Yeah.
So
who'd you guys end up trading Ray Allen for? I forget.
Gary Payton and Desmond Mason.
Oh, that wasn't worth it.
No, it was not. We lost Gary Payton at the end of that season, and that was obviously it was a
Desmond Mason, bro. Yeah, I remember
we thought Desmond Mason was gonna be something.
He was
he was just he was a dunker.
That wasn't even the last of your mistakes. You definitely drafted high as shit somebody by the name of Jabari Parker.
Oh, man. We thought Jabari was going to be something.
Bruh, everyone was hyping that draft like the next Melo and LeBron. And it was just like, well, neither one of them lived up to that shit. Neither one. Neither one of them did that. They had crazy athleticism, but freaking Jabari... No, I not like Wiggins, yes, but Jabari had some fucking jump. Them high school highlights were fucking filthy.
Jabari didn't want to play small forward.
He also when Giannis started getting clocked, well, he started getting weird about it, and then obviously he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah,
it just all went downhill. But bruh, it was a blessing in disguise for you because as he got horrible, Giannis got so much better. And it was just like, oh, this worked out. Yeah. It's a waste of a pick, but if it results in Giannis becoming Giannis, fuck it.
Right.
Old Bucks.
Fuck it.
Yeah, there was a lot of mistakes. Jimmer Fredette draft was a bad one. Andrew Bogut was good.
We were just talking about Andrew Bogut. We were just talking about him. Because we were saying it was the Bogut trade to Golden State, right, Didge? That's what you were talking about?
That's how we got Monta.
Right.
That's right, you guys had Ellis. I forgot you had Ellis. You know what the biggest steal was getting Chris Middleton. For who? Who was it? It was
I can't remember who we gave up for Middleton.
It was nothing. It was nothing.
You know what's so funny? Chris Middleton is the one NBA star that I swear to God, I don't remember what he did before Milwaukee.
Because
I have no memory.
He was in Detroit. And he was
in Detroit.
Got you. Okay. I had no memories.
He didn't do shit.
None.
He became something in Milwaukee. That's the funny. Him and Dinwiddie were both in Detroit, and they left Detroit and became good.
Yeah,
Detroit was just like...
Let me see. Who did he get traded for?
The guard. What's his name?
Who?
Middleton. I don't remember. But yeah, he only did one season in Detroit and literally did nothing. He didn't even start a game.
That's usually how most players do. One season in Detroit and saying, I get the fuck out of here. No, Jennings left in free agency, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jennings.
No, that's what we that's what we traded him for.
That's what it was, right? Yeah.
We did trade. We traded him for Brandon Jennings. I'm looking at it now. I did not remember that.
Yeah. I remember because I'm like, that was a weird trade. I thought, so weird. And then this fucking Middleton became a star.
Yeah, and then Brandon Jennings just sort of fell off.
And Jennings didn't.
Fell off completely.
Going backwards.
Which is weird because I swear his first year I was just like, oh, this guy's going to be a fucking problem.
Well, remember he did that 55-point game.
Yes.
And I remember that. We were going nuts. It was like, we got something here. We got something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have much with that.
Nope, not at all. And then he came to us and was just like, oh, he'll revitalize his career. No. No.
You know what's funny? When I think about Milwaukee, I do because I guess it's the time I grew up. But I obviously, aside from Michael Redd, I think
Michael Redd.
I think of TJ Ford a lot too.
Oh man, remember that injury?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, TJ was good too. I liked him.
Yeah, that was a good draft. That 03 draft. I remember. I thought we were. Was he 04? No, he was the same year as Melo and all of them, right?
I think so. I don't 100%.
I know he was the 8th pick. I know for sure. I remember what pick he was.
He might have been.
But I remember that was a pretty good draft. I remember all of those players. They were all decent. Obviously outside of Darko Milicic, but
Darko Milicic, swing and a miss.
Yeah, that was a huge miss.
Big ass swing and a miss. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk some NBA playoffs. I want to start off with this because me and Didge were talking about this, texting each other, Joel. So I want to get your thoughts on this. Skip Bayless, because he's a hating ass motherfucker, was saying that right. But he was saying that right now, with the 4 teams left, Jimmy Butler is the best player out of all the players left.
And I love Jimmy, but
okay, so where me and Didge were going back and forth, and Didge, I'm gonna pass it so you can sure. Elaborate on your part because I don't want to make it seem like I'm speaking for you. But we were essentially going. I was saying I give it to Jason Tatum because of the degree of difficulty, right? Doing what you did to Brooklyn, no one saw that coming. And then to rebound that with doing what you did to Milwaukee, no one saw that coming. But I always felt as though Boston just had the better team than Milwaukee.
Milwaukee was undermanned too. It's not like
no. They were
the way they wiped out Brooklyn. I thought they might have had a chance to do that against Milwaukee. So I give credit for taking them to 7, honestly.
I'll say this: I didn't see Milwaukee going out the way they did in Game 7. I saw the Celtics winning.
Yeah, no, the way they went out,
it'd be a lot closer.
Game 7 was rough.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I didn't really see that coming.
They ran out of whatever energy they had was gone.
Right. So I didn't see that coming because I feel as though as long as you got a player like Giannis, he could get you to 6-7 games for sure. For sure.
And he did.
And he did. That's what I'm saying. So I thought it would be a lot closer than it was. But I think it's Jason Tatum.
They had 22 threes to 4. Yeah, you're not winning games like that.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah, it was sad.
So I'm gonna
threes, bro.
I'm gonna pass it to you, Joel, for you to tell me your pick, and then I'll give it to you, Didge, to close us out on the topic. But I'm going Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum is the best player remaining. Joel, who are you going with as the best player remaining out of these 4 teams left?
Man, after what I saw the other day, I'm gonna have to go with Luka Doncic as the best player available right now.
Yeah,
but it's hard to make it. I mean, you can make a case for Tatum and Luka, the best players available, and even Steph Curry. So, you're really not wrong with whichever one you choose.
I will say this as I pass it to you, Didge. You know how Jordan had the flu game. Paul Pierce had to take a shit game, right? You remember how those iconic games happened?
Take a shit game.
Luka solidified his legacy with the suck my dick game. And that was the greatest game. I need ESPN or NBA TV when they do throwback games like of big moments of players. I need them to call that the SMD game because that was a game where Luka said, open your mouth. No. Open your mouth. It's going all the way in there. And he said, fuck all y'all. Like, fuck you and you. Lil Wayne, you're here. Hi. Fuck you too. Like, he was on a tour, on a world tour, this fucking Luka Doncic. I tell you, when players say like, oh, we don't watch SportsCenter, we don't pay attention to that crap. Luka only watched SportsCenter for every single one of those games. It said, oh, Lil Wayne said that? Okay. All right. Okay. Watch me blow Chris Paul right off this goddamn court. Watch me blow him right off. Luka was so efficient, this man made me question how Mikal Bridges was up for Defensive Player of the Year. How the fuck you get in that conversation? Like, Luka was just like, and fucking Chris Paul, and fucking Devin Booker, and fucking DeAndre Ayton. It's Luka Town. So that's a very good pick, Joel. But Didge, you weren't going with Jimmy Butler, but you were saying you could see how someone could see Jimmy Butler being the best player, one of the best players left.
I mean, even if you like, if you're looking at it like, so you were saying because you're saying, I don't know if there were debate. I don't know if Stephen A was saying was debating versus Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler, if he was just flat out made his pick. But if those were the two who they were debating, their numbers are almost identical. In fact, points per game wise, I think it's like 0.2, and Jimmy Butler has more rebounds and assists. So arguably, he's affecting the game more than Jason Tatum is.
I don't disagree.
I can understand that.
I don't disagree. My only argument to that was I'm watching a Philly team play 2 games with no Joel Embiid, right? Even when Joel Embiid came back, it was just Joel Embiid. So I'm watching.
Funnily enough, those 2 games with no Joel Embiid were Jimmy Butler's 2 worst games.
Really?
Yes.
Because I'm like, who did they play in the first round? I can't remember it to save
Atlanta. They swept Atlanta.
Bro. Jason Tatum just had to beat
sorry. They didn't sweep Atlanta. They didn't sweep Atlanta. They lost the game to Atlanta got one.
Jason Tatum's like, bitch, I had to stop Durant and Giannis. like
they swept Brooklyn though. They swept Brooklyn.
And who was one of the main guys guarding Durant in that series?
Fair.
Jason Tatum.
That's fair. I'll give you that. But I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't go with it. I think it's arguable, but neither of them were my pick. I'm going Steph. I think for far too long, a lot of the season, people are forgetting that Steph Curry is still Steph Curry.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not.
That's not now that Milwaukee's out. That's my pick to win it all. And I mean, like I said, people are forgetting that Steph Curry is Steph Curry. So I do think that he is the best.
Yeah, and look, Steph Curry, he has a lot to prove, mainly because of this. If it wasn't for the fact that Memphis is so young, so they forgot about the legend of Game 6 Clay, there was a possibility that if the Grizzlies weren't without Ja, that could have possibly very scarily went to 7 games, very much up in the air because of Curry's erratic play in that said series. But the legend of Game 6 Clay is so fucking massive.
To be honest, Steph Curry, other than that Game 5 disaster, Steph Curry was putting up great numbers all series. He had
with an injury himself.
Right. I think what he missed the last. Did he come back right before the playoffs, or was it literally in the playoffs?
No, in the playoffs.
And he was coming off the first couple games.
Right. So it's like he's coming right off an injury, came in, pretty much went right back to form. And I mean, obviously, you have a little hiccups there that you can probably attribute to Russ. But it's like if we're talking anything, like especially Memphis and Denver as a collective is probably better than Milwaukee and Brooklyn as a collective. Let me put it like this.
What happened?
Denver's worse. Denver. So I do Milwaukee. So I go Milwaukee, Memphis, Denver, Brooklyn.
But wait, hold on. Are you saying this in hindsight? Because before the playoffs, I don't think anyone saw Brooklyn getting swept, let alone losing the series.
I thought they were losing the series. I didn't see them getting swept, but I saw them losing that series. I wasn't as high as I wasn't high on Brooklyn. I wasn't as high on Brooklyn as I was for a lot of people, as a lot of people were.
There's nothing. I haven't cheered for the Celtics that hard ever.
I saw Durant with no help take y'all 7 games and was a toe within going to the Eastern
But this
Conference
season was
so I'm like
I'm looking at it. This season was so hectic for Brooklyn. They never gelled. Like they never did. And then we knew Ben Simmons wasn't going to play. Like no one expected him to play. We knew that was coming.
Yeah, but still, so you're going power rankings because even with everything you're saying, I still would have had Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Memphis, Denver.
I think Denver and Memphis were better than.
Just wait. That's what I'm asking. Are we talking hindsight or before the start of the playoffs?
Before I wasn't high on Denver, or not Denver. I wasn't high on them either, but I wasn't high on Brooklyn. I didn't see them coming out. I thought there was a distinct chance they could have lost the play. Well, not both playing games because there were 7, but I didn't see them winning the first play-in game at first. I thought there was a distinct chance they could have lost.
I prayed for it.
That would have been great.
I may have lost all my wishes after that.
Brooklyn, they were so up and down all season. You could tell they never gelled. And I thought when playoff came around and everything got more intense, I thought you were going to see it, which you kind of started to see when.
Yeah, but I think the biggest downfall for Brooklyn that even Brooklyn didn't see coming was Boston's ability to just nullify Durant. He essentially just didn't matter. Because I'm like, no way Durant can't get you 3 games. At least 3 games.
You are right. I was sure that series was going, especially after game 1.
Right.
Especially, I was okay, this is going 7. And I was happy about that because I'm like, at this point, then after that, even if Brooklyn does win it, they're about to be exhausted.
Right.
So I was feeling ecstatic after seeing game 1. I was like, oh, this is gonna be beautiful. So
Didge said, knock the wind out of that motherfucker.
But yeah, so I do think that as a collective, those two together is better than any two of the other players had to play. Like they're as a collective, they're better than Philadelphia and Atlanta, and they're definitely. I think they're better than Timberwolves and Pelicans and Timberwolves, right? Jeez, who am I?
Wait, that the Grizzlies
Pelicans and Suns.
Okay, gotcha.
So those two as a collective, I think, were better than any other collective that the other teams had to play.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. So you're going with Curry, Joel's going with Luka, I'm going with Jason Tatum. Here's the fun thing about sports.
We'll find out.
Fucking see. We'll get to see. This isn't something that's made believe.
Another thing, it's a team game, so it doesn't matter who the best really is. It comes down to the team. Because if this one guy does all the work and nobody else comes to play, well, shit out of luck.
Yeah, we saw that happen.
Well, to be fair, a game, just game to game, not full 7 games. A superstar, if you have one, can at least get you a game or 2. Superstar got it in him to get you 50 for 2 games at least.
I'm not going to get swept.
This late in the playoffs, maybe not. But I think a superstar could, like around 1 or round 2, a superstar can will you to that series win.
100%.
Now, conference finals, you get a little iffy, and then finals for sure.
Well, shit, I'd fucking watch LeBron for 90 years, never fucking get tired. So
I'm not saying necessarily get tired, but obviously the level of competition goes up.
Example, that man was usually the best player on the floor, and he's
100%.
Right. Seen him lose, you know?
Well,
I'm just saying. It's true.
I'm trying to think of their losses. Can I definitively say that? Against Curry, yeah. Not against Durant. Durant was the best player. Clearly, LeBron was the best player over
Durant on the Warriors?
Yeah.
Because that's hard.
No. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
That year.
All-Stars.
Fuck
that guy.
That year, Durant was easily
that was a
the best
bitch ass. I'll never give him anything. You play on the Warriors, I don't give a fuck, bro.
He was easily talent-wise.
I'm the best player on the Warriors. Yeah, good shit. You have 4 other All-Stars with you. Good job, buddy.
But it could have failed though. It's possible it could have failed.
If it failed, it would look almost as worse as what happened this year with Brooklyn. But it didn't.
Yes, it did. Why? Because he was able to rise above that shit.
They were healthy.
They were healthy.
They were healthy. That's it.
Yeah, LeBron outside of Spurs has been the best player every finals he's been in. Yeah. I'm not giving it to LeBron over fucking Tim Duncan of that year. He was a baby. I'm giving that shit to Tim Duncan. But yeah.
Why he was
are you saying the 07 Spurs year?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I agree.
Not the Miami
I don't know why.
Year.
Yeah, okay.
No, not the
I
Miami
was very
year.
similar to what Iverson did. We're bringing them that Sixers team to the finals. Like it's like, whoa,
bro, it's really hard
to
differentiate what was more impressive. It's really hard. Only reason I tend to give it to LeBron only slightly is that I swear to God I've never seen that motherfucker take a shot. Those years in Cleveland, that motherfucker was dunking on your head top. Every game.
That was not as good as it became.
Right, like this motherfucker was doing this with layups and dunks.
That's what it was. He was a fucking airplane.
Yo, LeBron was so impressive, bro. Bro, I'm watching LeBron and I'm watching Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace just go, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Like, I can't do nothing with this. Rip Hamilton was like, oh my God, I can't. What am I supposed to do? LeBron was like, head top. Head top.
It sounds long as arms when they're doing shit.
Yo, that's how you know when your body is starting to get old, is when you're playing someone drastically younger, right?
Yeah,
and it's just the athleticism to where you're just like, did he jump from the fucking free throw line on a fast break? Oh shit, I can't breathe. It's like, you should retire soon. It's like,
you should retire soon. This is probably a sign that it's come to a close.
Bro, there's nothing more demoralizing to where you think he's still coming up court, and you turn around and his nuts
he's in the air
mouth.
like
He's dunking on you. You're just like, oh no, take me out. No, enough of this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
LeBron of those younger years, like I always say, to me, that's my favorite LeBron. Not the Miami LeBron, not the other Cleveland LeBron. Those years in Cleveland were my favorite because LeBron was due a body a game. He was giving a corner a body a game. It didn't matter who he was playing. He was just like, toe tag this motherfucker. He's out. He's out. And I still think my favorite all-time series that I watched literally beginning to end, that was just purely entertaining for so many reasons, was Gilbert Arenas' Wizards versus LeBron. That was the most entertained I have ever been in the history of my time watching basketball.
That was fun.
Bro, we got a diss song from Jay-Z out of that shit. Like, what? Huh? And then I remember Gilbert Arenas like, oh, that shit LeBron does won't work with us. And LeBron was just like, word, head top. And it's just like, you have no answer, guys. Like, nobody. Deshaun Stevenson's not stopping LeBron. What are we doing here? Fucking love that series. But anyway, all right, so let's run through this. Didge, I want to start off with you, man. What went wrong with Milwaukee in Game 7, man? What happened there?
Shooting, first off. I mean, 433 is a lot of wrong. But I think just truly gas ran out. You know, nobody could buy a basket. Giannis tried to do everything he could to keep them in the game. Eventually, he couldn't do enough. And like I said,
you guys invented a new game, right? So you guys invented the game of, all right, Grant, you made one. No way you make another. It is like, all right, Grant, you made 5. No way you make another. letting too many open threes. That was our downfall.
He made 7. How did he make 7 threes, bro?
They had so
wide open.
They would give him so many open threes.
He's
and
6'7".
Bro, I'm telling you, by the fourth quarter, Bud grabbed the clipboard and was just like, all right, hold on. Who's leading in scoring? What?
And like, then, truthfully,
what are we doing?
Coach Bud didn't do us any favors by giving George Hill that much clock. If anybody saw my tweets from, I think that was Friday night. I got a little too drunk and I was letting them fly. I saw that Saturday morning, like, Jesus, I was letting them go.
Yo. Didge is like, yo, fuck George and Hill.
What happened to Serge Ibaka? Is he hurt?
He's healthy, but Bud wasn't making any adjustments. I didn't understand it. And
I think he could have guarded fucking Grant Williams.
I remember Friday. I was so frustrated in Game 6, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? I think at one point I tweeted out just plainly, fuck Boston. Then I came back with like, well, in football, you guys are cool. But we're not talking football right now. Like, I was not.
Yo, to say that when half the New England Patriots was at that game is hilarious.
I know. I know.
Like, you football guys are great, but you on-court motherfuckers here. I hate all y'all.
Yeah, I still hate Boston. I mean, this hurts. I really don't have.
It was rough.
I'm in one of the biggest dilemmas ever. My favorite player in the league right now is Jason Tatum, and I keep trying to figure out a way for Jason Tatum to succeed, but for the team to fail. And it's like, I don't think I could ever get that. Like, unless Jason Tatum gives me 7 straight 50-point games and Boston gets sent home. But now my predicament is worse. I'm like, because fuck Miami and Boston.
Well, that's why that's why I'm done with the Eastern Conference. Let's go, Chef Curry. Let's go.
I'm pretty much over the Eastern.
I'm done with the East.
I'm not gonna win this one, Boston or Miami.
I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for Tatum, I wouldn't even be watching this game at all. Like, that's how much I despise the Celtics and Miami.
It's still playoff basketball. I would just be hate watching.
I just be hate watching.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good point.
Oh man. But yeah, so you're absolutely right. Milwaukee, look, when Giannis sat down on the bench and went and then wiped his face, I said, oh, that motherfucker tired. Yeah, he out. He ain't got nothing left.
He took that whole team by himself carrying the motherfuckers.
He ain't got nothing left. You know what's funny? LeBron probably was watching Giannis just like, oh, this shit's rough, huh? It's fucking rough, huh? Yeah, okay. I fucking
You're probably texting Giannis after the game. Like, you understand it now, huh?
Yeah, you get it now, huh?
He was probably texting Giannis.
Yeah, LeBron was like, hey, 10 years straight of this shit. Okay, all right. You won 1 chip in the second year.
You got you one early. Yeah. You got you one early. Look, wait till you have to start dealing with it.
100%. That's why I'm saying, like, when Matt Stafford won the championship and he's just like, some people just don't know how hard it is. Brady had to call that motherfucker immediately. Like,
one thing you got to give Giannis, he didn't leave though.
No,
fair.
That's the main reason why Giannis to me should be regarded up there in the pantheons, because it's just like, this motherfucker said, no, I'll figure it out here. And he did. He could have easily said, let me go to Golden State, less money, multiple championships. Let me follow right?
I would have looked down on him just as bad as I looked down to her.
No, I would. No. Let me be honest with you. I would have looked down worse because you're essentially following someone else's game plan to the T.
I mean, that's what that's what he did. KD did what LeBron did, but worse.
No. Worse. I'm saying literally following it by
saying,
going
KD's
to
still in
Golden State.
I'm going there.
Yeah, I'm like, you literally like, I'm not talking about you went to any other team that was happening to be good. You went exactly to Golden State.
Yes. I'm like, why? Yeah, I don't understand it.
And
like,
watching
I need championships, guys. Come on.
And watching Giannis rebound Steph's threes to kick it back out to him I would have threw up every game I watched. Like, no fucking way I want to sit through this shit. But yeah, so Boston brought it. Like I told you before, Didge, when we were looking ahead to this game 7, I told you all series long, I just felt as though Boston just had the better team. They just did. And I solely
was overconfident that Middleton was coming back though too.
That's fair, because what I was about to say is I don't think I could have confidently said that had you had Chris Middleton. If you had Chris Middleton, I don't know if I could have definitively said, "Oh, Boston just had the better team." Well, what are you gonna do when you got to man up Chris Middleton? That motherfucker can go for 30. So Giannis doesn't have to go for 96 points every goddamn game. So I'm like, it would have taken the pressure off of Portis, off of Connaughton and those guys.
Yeah.
Having Chris Middleton. And maybe this game 7 would have been more fluid because they would have had more in them because they didn't have to exhaust everything in those prior games. So I think it would have been dead even if you had Chris Middleton. Because I'm like, Middleton and Giannis kind of equate exactly to Jason and Jalen.
Yeah, so I think it would have been a different outcome.
It would have been more even, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely more even.
I mean, that's why you give credit to Milwaukee, because like they survived. I thought they'd still pull it through because they were playing well.
I blame the Bulls.
You blame who?
The Bulls, those dirty Bulls.
The dirty Bulls.
Hey, it's so funny. They were making fun of Milwaukee's. They were just like, yeah, Milwaukee, remember that fucking game where you sat all your starters to end the season where you could have got that second seed and you were just like, fuck it. Fuck it. We don't need that. To be fair, you said that with Chris Middleton. And then he went down and you were like, fuck.
And it's like, but even so, 4 of the 7 games were won by road teams. So it's like, it's not like home court was like that big.
Right. But at some point, you always believe at some point home court has to matter. It's usually in a game 7 where that shit gets the rocking. You get all the
sure.
celebrities that come out. It's not an empty seat in there unless you play for the Hawks. But there's not an empty seat anywhere in the arena. It's packed to the rafters. And then that's when you get shit like that. Because they always say that a home crowd could fuel star players. Like it just fuels them, man. It's like putting batteries in their backs. All right. Joel, did you have any thoughts? You pretty much said everything with giving up all the threes and shit Milwaukee did.
I mean, that was
yeah. Oh,
that was the clincher right there. They gave up 22-4, right? 22 threes to 4. You're not winning the game. I mean, I know the Bucks out rebounded them, but he didn't really have a lot of help. I mean, look at it. If you look at let me see.
Drew had 21, and then I think Brooke had 15. But other than that, it was nobody else.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the bench didn't really come. Bobby Portis had 10. You're gonna need more from Bobby Portis. You're gonna need a lot more. Connaughton, Allen, Wes Matthews didn't give you shit, and obviously your favorite player, George Hill, also nothing. So it's like,
bro, he had 11 minutes. Like he played almost a whole quarter. What are we doing?
It's a rebound. What would you want? You want to see Carter play?
I would have liked to see him have more clock.
I wonder. My biggest question mark was like Ibaka.
Serge didn't even get in,
and Nwora, because I like Nwora, and then they just stopped using
Jordan Nwora. Yeah, he could have got in. I don't know, some of the stuff that Coach Bud does. It's almost like he reverted back to 2019 and 2020, where things would happen and he just refused to adjust. And that was it was something that we used to, until last year when they won. It was like I was telling you guys before, it was make or break. We were like, you got to fire him otherwise. And obviously we won last year, so now you get some cachet. But it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you and say there aren't Bucks fans today who are saying, bro, so about that firing Coach Bud thing, like there are some fans who are trying to revisit that.
Yeah, I get that, but if my only problem is like Middleton was healthy, they probably had a better chance of winning that.
And I think that's the thing, obviously as of right now, every fan is speaking with their heart rather than thinking logically. Like I said, if he was healthy, we could be in Miami right now. But it is what it is. I want to talk about this Phoenix collapse.
I'm ready.
I knew we were going to talk about the Bucks collapse. That was just horrible. But oh my God, this Phoenix collapse.
Wait. Before we get into the Phoenix collapse, because the Phoenix collapse will open up a whole nother conversation. I want to go to the 76ers collapse. I want to go to the 76ers.
Oh crap, we haven't gotten a chance. That did happen after last episode.
It did. So I want to talk about the Sixers, and I have nothing to give to that fucking series. I don't think anyone thought it would go any differently. I want to go to this. The conversation, obviously, Pat Beverly's been a part of it, JJ Redick, everybody. Should the Sixers pay James Harden the Supermax, right? In my heart, I really believe the Sixers should see what they could do. You should let that motherfucker walk and call up Washington and see what it takes to go get fucking Bradley Beal.
It almost sounds like Joel Embiid agrees with you. Did you hear his comments afterwards?
I sure did. It
almost sounds like he might agree with you on that.
Because like I'm watching this series, and you know what I kept thinking, Didge? I kept thinking to myself, a player like Beal, who has never really truly been on a stage this large, right? This large. Like, okay, you're playing with some people regard as one of the best players in the NBA, right? Because he's had some winning seasons with Washington, but no one looks at John Wall or Bradley Beal as one of the best 5 players in the NBA. Right. So I'm like, Bradley Beal on this stage would have gave you more than goose eggs in a fucking closeout game in the second half.
Can they afford him?
I have to imagine that. You sell everything. You sell everything and say, hey, Shaq and Kobe.
What's he at next year? Ooh, 36 mil.
You look, you do whatever it takes, and you pair up Joel Embiid with fucking Bradley Beal, and you let Harden go wherever the fuck he wants to go. Somebody will be stupid enough to pay that motherfucker.
Smart. You can't just let him walk because it's not like you got him for free. they had to give up.
It's not like that was the first lose-lose trade ever.
I was about to say
team won that trade.
I was about to say I don't look back like, damn, I gave up a lot. Like, no, it's pretty washed.
It wasn't
pretty
washed. They lost assets on that trade. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
no,
the assets, sure.
What else did they lose? How many picks?
Like 2, I think.
Let me look.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, what are those picks?
I'm Googling it now.
That's what I mean. Like, you can't get up.
Still, if those picks, but if I'm any other team in the NBA, what the fuck would I give up to get James Harden?
First of all,
Brooklyn got Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. This year's first round pick, which turns into what they're probably like the 25th, 26th pick,
right?
23, 24, whatever. And then a 2027 pick. So 5 years down the road.
James Harden can fucking walk right out of that fucking door.
The only thing you could
can opt in still.
Is it a player option?
Yeah, it's a player option.
I'm gonna tell him, hey, you opt in, you coming off the bench, bitch. you opt in, you coming right off that motherfucking bench. I'm doing whatever it takes.
Or I just let him know it. You are available for trade. I'm sure he doesn't have no trade clause. You are available for trade.
I don't think he's going to say no, considering how he's been.
Because to me, it's like, all right, let's say he doesn't opt in, right?
That's a bad look, though. Oh my God, that's bad.
To me, it just didn't work out. It happens.
It doesn't matter. You can't be like in 3 different teams in 3 different years. That's just a bad luck. He'll never get the money, obviously.
Bro, I'm not paying him for.
Yeah, so I just looked at his contract. I don't care about
I'm not paying him 47 million. I'm not paying him 47 million next year.
Harden, you already look bad. You look bad. You continue to look bad. I'm not opting out.
No. That's fine. I'm only speaking from the Sixers' perspective. If I'm the Sixers, I don't give a fuck what James Harden wants to do. I'm telling him he lost all power.
Who's in charge? He loves James Harden.
I know Daryl Morey sucks James Harden off.
That man loves.
I know
this series. Do you really think he still does? Like you can't.
I still
yes,
do.
no,
really
but
do.
he defended James. He said,
oh yeah, he did. I forgot about that.
He did. But I'm like, bruh, if I'm Doc Rivers, I'm saying, bitch, he is not on my roster next year. If I let him stay on my roster, that shit'll get me fired. Fuck out of here. Let me explore what else is out of there.
Good for next year.
No. But my point is, if Doc Rivers fucks up like he did this year with Harden and Embiid, it will get him fired. I'd rather wash this motherfucker, see what I can go get for him.
He should probably get fired this year, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't know. That's really tough for me because it's like obviously in that series, Embiid was dealing with injury issues, and Harden was just not Harden. Like,
no, I do think you give Doc at least another year. But you got to get rid of Harden. You got to get rid of Harden.
That anchor has to go, bro. It just has to go. It has to. And if it wasn't Daryl Morey in that chair, this wouldn't even be a discussion. This would not even be a discussion.
Oh, Bradley Beal might be a free. Does he have a player option?
I think he does have a player option.
I'm trying to do the ESPN trade machine to see how that trade would work out. Yeah, he has a player option this year, so he could opt out. Okay.
Yeah, he can opt out.
They won't let me do the trade machine for him because he can opt out.
He's another guy that's really loyal, so I would love to get him. I mean, for him to leave Washington would be great for him, but I don't know if he wants that.
I mean, I don't know. You got to think like I want to start winning,
bro. All I'm saying is this: as loyal as he is, I see Dame as that, and then Dame most recently is just like, bro, I don't fucking know.
Bro, he said he. Oh my God, I forgot about that. He put the city in a frenzy this morning. Let me tell you how many Middleton we should trade him to get Dame. Conversations I done had this morning. Like, oh my God, no, we shouldn't. I'm gonna say no, we shouldn't.
No,
we can get Dame without giving up Middleton.
Guy. Yeah, I was gonna say Middleton fits perfectly with Giannis.
Like if we can get Dame some other way and we don't have to give up Middleton, yes, I'm all for it. But no, we should not be giving up Middleton.
You sound like me. Every day I wake up, I'm just like, quickly, RJ, Donovan, Toppin, Mitchell Robinson. I'm like, in a perfect world.
No, but like, there's no way.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what it sounds like. Like, yeah, come on, that's never gonna happen.
Like they can have George Hill.
You got George Hill and a box of cigarettes. Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, to me, Joel, I get what you're saying. And look, let's talk what we know to be realistic. Morey is not changing his mind on James Harden. James Harden's not walking away from money. I get that. But if I'm Doc Rivers and I go up to Daryl Morey and I'm like, hey, I can still run this roster how I want, right? Oh, I can. This motherfucker's not starting. We're not supermaxing him. We're not supermaxing him.
I think you tell him, like, hey, you might have to come off the bench.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, they don't have to do anything this year. If he has the player option, they could just say, you're playing under this next year.
Yeah.
Still 47 million, but it's like you're just playing under that.
That or request a trade and we'll figure something out.
Right.
But to me, I kind of feel like once you do that, it's like if I'm another NBA team and I see what Harden did to go from Houston to Brooklyn to the Sixers, and you think I'm about to be bended over a barrel to get him, bitch, I'm giving you bare knuckles. Like the bare minimum for James Harden.
Somebody's going to fall into that trap again. Somebody's going to be like,
we'll see.
He was in a bad situation. James Harden can still be James Harden.
Good seasonal stats.
I would very much like to see what team feels as though they're a James Harden away. I would very much be interested to see that shit. Very much interested.
What team could that be?
I didn't realize.
I have no fucking idea. Would you say, Joel?
I didn't realize Tobias Harris was making that kind of money.
I was just looking at.
That's why Didge was like, "That's a lot of money on."
This is a lot of. When I was looking at that trade machine, I was like, "These are a lot of interesting cap numbers."
Holy mother!
Tobias Harris is making more than Joel Embiid.
That's money this year.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's like Tobias. You might have to get the fuck up out of here too, man. We need Bradley Beal.
It's like, who wants that contract? I mean, it's one of those.
Yeah, who wants 35 mil?
Now, you know what you got to do? You got to do what Joel's always taught me. You got to make Tobias Harris sound like fucking Michael Jordan next year. Like, tell him, hey, kick this shit up a notch.
Yeah.
What did you do in the playoffs? Let's look.
Not enough.
Well, considering Didge that I thought he was hurt, I assume nothing.
He only averaged 17, 7, and 3. So not great.
It's not terrible.
It's not awful.
It's worse the third option, man.
Okay, we as a fan community got to work on that. If I'm paying you a shit ton of money, there is a such thing as unacceptable, and that shit sounds unacceptable.
Yeah. But the problem is he's the third option on that team.
Right.
I completely understand, but when I look at the stat sheet,
maybe 4, right?
Maxey came up.
Maxey gets a lot.
I'm talking playoffs, not regular season. When I look at the playoff stats, I'm saying when I look at the playoff stats and I see Harden's not really doing his job, I'm like, well, bitch, did you try to step up? Like, the fuck?
Well, that's what I mean. It was a collective. They all played like shit.
Right. Yeah. But to me, with all that money, nah, I can't stomach that.
The same thing you can say about the Suns and a lot of other teams that shit the bed recently.
Right. But when I look at what I'm paying, what's his name? Fucking Cam Johnson and those guys. I'm like, yeah, I can stomach that, sure. Yeah, now when I'm paying Chris Paul,
right?
DeAndre Ayton, that's a problem. Yeah. That's my problem.
Well, DeAndre Ayton, he didn't get his payday.
He wants his
that's
max,
right. He wants his payday.
You
want your payday and you do that?
Yep. You see that? You see what I mean?
Bitch, I'm calling the agent and say steak dinners. That's what he gets for the next 4 years. Steak dinners. That's it. This bitch ain't getting no money.
I mean, campaign. He's not even getting crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm fine with him, not really showing. I'm fine with those guys. That's where I view Tobias Harris.
They should have Peyton, They should have known better.
Oh God, they would have lost in one game if they put that motherfucker in there. But yeah, that series wasn't really a shock. So I just wanted to talk about Harden before we moved on, because I don't think any of us was like, what? They lost. What was all that coming?
Frustrating is a guy like James Harden. A guy like Russell Westbrook. It's funny. It's all the same. They come from the same roots, right? Like, what the fuck? You guys put up numbers, but like no one wants to play with you.
Now, here's the funny thing. Here's where I think the biggest difference is. I think the biggest difference is you look at Russ with LeBron and you go, that was never going to work because neither one of you are efficient shooters. So what the fuck were you going to do to each other if you had to kick out to each other? So it's like that seemed like a mistake from day one. everyone and their mother thought putting James Harden with Joel Embiid was going to be a poor man's Kobe and Shaq. So for him to kind of flatline as much as he did,
they were together.
then they flatline. So to me, James Harden's the biggest question mark because I look at Russ and I'm like, well, how far could Russ and LeBron truly go together if they're both starting and neither one of them will just become a shooter because they can't shoot? Where the fuck were they going to go? Where? Like there was not much they could do. So to me, the biggest shock is Harden. You got out of a situation that looked to be one that didn't work. And it's like, you're clearly the second best player. It's not even up for debate. You're the second best. And it's like, but you won't play like it? Like, yeah, I don't understand.
The Harden one wasn't as surprising to me because I feel like he's been on a decline since like 2019. I remember that was when I kind of decided like I want to be out of Houston.
Yeah.
And I think it was really I'm kind of over basketball.
Yeah. He said, I definitely want to do more strip clubs and wings and less basketball courts.
That's a question he has to ask himself this year. He has his contract, opt in, and if you want to get paid again, you gotta fucking show up because ain't no.
Well, it's like, wasn't that Doc Rivers said he wants players who will, and I mean, like I said, Joel Embiid said it too, who actually want to play.
Yes,
and
that was 100% directed right to James Harden.
Oh, for sure,
right to James Harden,
for sure,
right to James Harden. Joel Embiid is like, bitch, I saw out of one eye, and I gave us 2 games.
Matter of fact, when did Harden sign his contract? I wonder.
Like, what?
He might have got paid.
He got paid in Houston. He got paid in Houston.
So I think so.
They tried to keep him, bro. They were like, we don't want.
So I think he got his big payday.
Right.
So
yeah, I will say James Harden does seem like one of those players that you're like, yo, he was all-time great, and then I paid him, and then he just left. Like he just
matter
said,
of fact,
no mas.
The exact same season I'm talking about. Like I said, 2018, 2019 was his last year. Really, no, 2019, 2020 was his last year. Really, like, oh, he's scoring crazy. Got a lot of assists and all that.
What I will give Joel when it comes to James Harden is this. Apparently, they were saying he was playing on a bad hamstring or some shit, right? So look, I'll do this. No, hold on, Didge. I'll do this. I'll give him to All-Star break for that to not be an issue, right? But then again, here's the problem with James Harden. You can never judge the motherfucker by his regular season. It's his playoff woes. Like, it's his playoff woes.
How about James coming to camp in shape for once? Maybe you won't have hamstring issues.
That would help.
I mean, I feel like everybody always says towards the end of the season, oh, I had hamstring issues, or oh, I had this. It's like, of course, you probably do. You just went through an 82-game season, and then you got, let's say you made it to the third round. That's another 12 games added on top of it, at least. Of course.
Yeah. He's got to figure something out, bro. Because what I don't want for him is that he's one of those fond memories of NBA past, right? Where you're just like, yo, you remember James Harden?
I'm also not too fan of James Harden. I'm not too fond of James Harden, so that would be okay with me. I wouldn't care.
And that's because of your Giannis bias.
Well, sometimes you got a little bias.
Hey, look, I don't blame you. It's fuck Trae Young over here because of my Knicks bias. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. That's for Trae Young's whole lineage. Like, so I don't blame you at all.
So you wouldn't welcome him with open arms if he decided, you know what, I want to go to New York.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I hate Trae Young so much. I get angry when I hear Thaddeus Young.
So you really wouldn't welcome him with open arms?
Of course I would. Are you fucking crazy?
I'm just asking.
How many times I have to tell you that in my lifetime I've been superstar deprived, Didge? I'm
just saying. I wouldn't welcome James Harden to Milwaukee.
Hell no! You just saw what he played like. Hell no! Of course you wouldn't.
Not this version.
You wouldn't welcome him.
That's not what I even meant, but fair. That's fair.
Of course you wouldn't welcome him. But look, let freshly traded from OKC James Harden become available for Milwaukee today. You'd accept him with open goddamn arms. Hell yeah!
Like 2012.
Yeah, you'd accept him with open ass arms. Hell yeah.
Yeah, back then I probably would have.
Mohawk James Harden.
Hell yeah, shit. there are very few rivalries I have in the NBA to where I'm just like, no way I would ever let that motherfucker play for my team. And that only extends, if I'm being honest, today. If we're talking all time, it only ever extends to Reggie Miller. If we're talking just today, it extends to only Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I'd never under any fucking circumstances accept them here, ever. No matter what.
They had their
Couldn't
chance.
care less. They had their chance. Yeah, you fucked it up. Nah, I don't want you now. Not at all. But anybody else, like everyone that's like, yo, every Knicks fan is like, yo, fuck LeBron. If LeBron said at 97 he wants to come play for the Knicks, I'd open the door for him. Yeah, come right in. Yeah.
Hey,
Come here.
he's old right now. Hey, I'll take
Come
him
here.
tomorrow.
Come here. Come here. Come play for us.
Wants to
Come
leave
on.
LA? I got a home for you.
Shit. So there's very few. I don't have a list. It's literally just Kyrie and Durant. Fuck them forever. But if Trae Young tomorrow say, you know what? I enjoyed when I was in the Garden. I want to do this for the rest of my career. I'd be the first one kicking the door open, Spartan style, like welcome. And he's like, weren't you the guy that said on that show one day, fuck Trae Young and all the Youngs? I sure did.
That's fair.
But welcome. Welcome home.
That's
welcome
very
right
fair.
on home. So yeah, for me, that doesn't extend long. I know for Joel, it's really only like Durant, Kyrie, and Kristaps Porzingis. That's really it for Joel.
Also have a chance.
Joel hates the ground that he walks. Joel wouldn't let me root for Luka when Kristaps was there. So that hate was running deep.
Wait, why do you hate Chris? He did leave horribly.
He forced his way out.
Yeah,
And then talk shit once he got out.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like-
why I stopped my question, because I remember it now.
That guy.
Yeah.
Bro.
I'm like, bitch, before we drafted you, albeit fuck Phil Jackson too. But before we drafted you, only one other team was like, yeah, I'm going to get this Porzingis guy if he's available. Bitch, we put you on the map. You fucking shit on us. You serious?
That's another draft pick that dropped. Oh, come on.
Yeah, come on, man. That's why when everyone's like, will RJ get his money? Will he get his money? I'm willing to sacrifice Julius Randle to open it up to pay him double. Like, I want to give RJ Barrett the first ever 10-year, $600 million contract. If I'm the Knicks, no way I'm letting another motherfucker like that walk out of the door. Are you serious? No way. No way. I'm about to pay RJ Barrett soccer money out this motherfucker.
I think he's already he's better standing with him right now. I think a lot of what happened with Porzingis was the way, you know, there was a lot of bad blood there at the end.
And he didn't like the way Melo was treated.
Melo was treated, and like Phil Jackson was just shitty as a manager.
Phil Jackson, look, I don't know who wronged Phil Jackson, but he's on a real old man mean streak. This motherfucker got the nerve to show up to the Lakers and tell Jeannie Buss, you should trade LeBron and keep Russell Westbrook. What the fuck is what? Like,
I think he's trying to sabotage him.
That's my point. He's just vengeful at this point. Like, what is he looking for?
I think he's just trying to sabotage.
But here's the thing, Didge. He's sacrificing the two franchises he's only ever had rings in. Like,
he's not. No, he got a majority of his rings in Chicago. How did you dismiss that?
I dismissed that completely. Yeah. Oh, well then look, Chicago, watch out. He's making rounds.
Right. He's making his rounds. Once he's done with those two, here he comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as Jeannie kicks him to the bus, you're gonna hear Phil Jackson reach out to the Chicago Bulls. It's like, oh fuck. Shit, this storm will not stop. But all right. I'm going to pass it to you, Didge. Lead us into this Suns conversation of this epic collapse that bled into one of the greatest social media wars I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's been amazing too. So the Suns ended up losing by a grand total of, was it 40? Oh, I just had it up too.
Let's just say it was
at least
so
30.
Out of hand. By halftime, Shaq and the guys weren't even talking about the game.
Well, it was so out of hand at halftime. Phoenix had 27 and Luka had 27.
Right.
So that's how bad it was. And
but hold on, really quickly. The funniest point of that whole game was after the game where they go, Luka, did you know at one point that you had as many points as the team? And he went, yeah. Like, hilarious. Yeah, by design. Yeah, by design. But go ahead, Didge.
It was just, I had never seen such a collapse, because it wasn't, I missed the first I want to say probably 15-20 minutes of the game, and it was by the time I started watching, it was already out of hand. I texted my cousin. I'm like, bro, did Devin Booker get hurt? Is Chris Paul okay? Like, what did I miss? And he's like, no, they just suck. And watching the rest of the game, I'm like, did they even try? Were they just like, fam, it hit game 7, forget it. Like, I don't understand what went wrong, but I loved it. The Suns were way too cocky. They act like they had already won it all. They act like they were the defending champs. And I was like, you know what? Good. Maybe now when they come back next season, they'll actually realize, like, man, this is a lot of work getting back to the finals.
You know, I think I only wanted to see the Suns fail because I'm very big. And when Skip said this, I always used to say, like, Skip's a fucking hater. But then I started thinking that, like, I'm seeing way too much fucking Cliff Paul, Chris Paul, Sean Paul, all kinds of Paul. I'm just seeing too much of it. I hate it. Enough. Go home. Maybe they'll stop airing that version of the commercial. So it was in seeing that I was just like, oh my God. It's just seeing too much of a motherfucker. Like, I can only imagine how other fans felt in the 90s where every commercial had Jordan. Even a commercial that started with Larry Bird, you're like, oh,
but at least Jordan was winning.
And then Jordan would pop in.
At least Jordan was winning.
That's fair. That's always tolerable. That's always tolerable. Where it's just like, well, can't deny that, motherfucker.
Right? Like you like, all right, I get it. You know, the man does what he needs to do.
But it also was part of me wanting Phoenix to lose. Also was just loving Luka. It's just, how do you not watch him and just go, this motherfucker is elegant? Like, goddamn. Like, no one is stopping this. No one. And Luka was so infectious. Spencer Dinwiddie said, let me get some of that. And then Spencer Dinwiddie was so infectious. Brunson said, no, let me get some of that. Like, goddamn.
I gotta love-hate with Luka. Because Luka's obviously is amazing. Mm-hmm. But where the hate comes in is sort of the reception to him. And it's the reception of he's carrying, he's doing this, he's doing that. He's clearly that man, when it's like, wait till the season is over, see where he gets, because a lot of other players carry their team to a second round victory to a conference finals. And if they don't get it, it's, he was a failure. He couldn't get the job done. But it's like, you're ready to crown Luka off of a round 2 win. Let us see what happens. Now, they could very well win it all. I don't know. But let's not crown somebody that early.
How old is Luka? Let me ask you this. How old is Luka?
20
something.
23? I think he and Jason Tatum are under 25.
23, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Luka's 23. I'm ready to crown that motherfucker. I'm ready to crown that motherfucker.
Like I said, it's hard to say that. Like I said, Luka, his game's amazing. It's just when, and you know what? A lot of this is biased because it was somebody who I was debating with from here who was like, I got Luka over Giannis now. Giannis couldn't get it done. Luka got his done. And I wouldn't
say that.
I wanted to punch the screen because I'm like, are you stupid? He said Giannis has never carried a team, and he went on a whole list of players who never carried a team.
Wait, and was he in a coma last year?
Yeah, right. That didn't matter.
I'm like, it happened just as early as last year.
He said the guy was saying like Giannis has never carried a team, Embiid has never carried a team.
I'll give him that.
Kevin Durant has never carried a team.
I'll give him that.
Steph Curry has never carried a team.
I'll give him that.
Who else did he say? He kind of was getting down to LeBron, but he was like, you know who else? And it was one of those where it's like, we're saying these people who led teams to championships, but this man got to a second round and you're okay with calling him the greatest. Like, what are we really doing?
I disagree.
Stop being a prisoner of the moment.
I disagree in his slander to Giannis, but everyone else you just named outside of LeBron, I very much feel as though you could make a case that that's very apropos. Very apropos.
Yeah. If you're leading your team in every statistical category en route to a championship, you help carry that. Like you carried that because that means without you weren't getting there.
Okay, I'm confused on what you were saying. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying the reason you couldn't crown Lucas because he hasn't gone far. So I thought you were equating to You actually got to get to the big dance. You're just saying statistically.
Yeah, statistically, you have to get there and be statistical. Like, if Luka gets to the championship, then I can understand him being in the conversation. Mm-hmm. The man is in a Western Conference Finals for the first time. Mm-hmm. Let's just hold off. I'm not even saying he can't get there. I'm just saying it's too early.
I'll also say this. I don't judge teams that lose in Eastern or Western Conference Finals to an all-time team, right? Because I'm like, Melo would have went to an NBA Finals in the Western Conference had not a bad motherfucker like Kobe existed, right? And then it's like, there are numerous Eastern Conference teams that were knocking at the door, and LeBron just said, nope.
No, and I agree with that.
So it's like sometimes just getting beat by a better motherfucker is just what happens. I mean, the whole 90s was that with Jordan.
And that's fair. I'm not opposed to that. But when the conversation is far too often, oh, you failed because you got here. But all of a sudden, it's okay that because Luka could fail here, but people are already like, oh, he's the man. He got that dog in him, and it's like we don't know that yet.
Like I'm just saying, I would put Luka on the same field as Giannis. Obviously, Giannis does have the edge because he won a championship. But as far as skill and ability, I don't see one over the other. I see Giannis can completely disrupt a team with his ability. So can Luka very easily. Might I add you? Right. So that's why I'm saying I don't think there is a drastic difference between the two. The only reason why you could give the edge to Giannis is because he's gone to the big dance and won. And very impressive.
I think longevity has to be a part of it. Luka, knock on wood, I hope it never happens. But in this game, Luka could get an injury and never be the same. We saw it with Grant Hill. Remember, Grant Hill was that man. Had an injury, was never the same.
I like that. I like that you said that because there were a lot of people that crowned LeBron 5 years into the league.
I said it then.
5.
You gotta give a player at least like 6-7 years.
But to be fair, Didge, nobody that said that was wrong. Nobody that said that was wrong. LeBron in 5 years was easily right up there with whoever you think the best player in the league was. Easily. Whoever you thought was that motherfucker.
But they did it with Penny Hardaway. He got hurt. Never was the same.
But I don't think
Penny Hardaway.
I don't want to compare, but I'm like, I'm taking Luka over Penny Hardaway any fucking day of the week. Any fucking day.
Now we're getting into because Penny Hardaway at his best was fucking amazing. Grant Hill at his best, fucking amazing. And that's what I'm saying.
Long,
and that's why I said longevity has to be a part of it. You can't crown somebody. He's on his 4th year. You can't crown somebody 4 years in. Because,
let me ask you this. Could we crown Giannis had he not won the championship last year?
Honestly,
it was already
what do you mean? What do you mean by crown?
The best player on the planet.
I don't think so.
But he's been in the league long enough for that to be the case. So now you're only separating it by winning.
Yeah, Giannis. Well, if Giannis won, because Giannis won the title.
I don't think so because then it was still arguable. It was still arguable because even now, actually, it's still arguable.
All I'm saying is if Luka beats Golden State,
okay,
if he gets to the finals, regardless if he wins or not, Luka, in my opinion, is if you're talking LeBron, Durant, Giannis, Luka's name is right in that fucking mix. Right in that fucking mix.
I just think it's too soon.
I believe what you went through to get there, and then whatever happens in the finals, again, this is all hyperbole.
Right.
Luka's name is fucking in there. 100%. 100%.
I feel like people are just too prisoners of the moment.
I don't think he's the best player in the NBA.
Nobody's more prisoner of the moment than Mr. Juwaan. I don't disagree.
I don't think he's the best player in the NBA. But if you can knock Golden State and goes to the finals, you are not telling me that there are other players better than Luka outside of Giannis, Durant, and LeBron. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
That's all I'm saying. So, Again, I'm not prisoner of the moment. I'm not crowning him as that guy right now. But
a lot of people are.
Golden State, and they're wrong. But if he can beat Golden State and get to the finals, that's that motherfucker right there.
At that point, I may be willing to have a different conversation. But we're talking as of today, and people are already crowning him.
As of today,
and that's where my love hate came, because even before the season started, people were crowning him. Like, so
I think because not since LeBron was drafted could we look at a player off just raw talent and go, his longevity is gonna be fucking wild.
They had that with Zion.
Zion, yeah, I was about to say Zion was more so. It was a one.
It was,
but Zion was always one dimensional, right? So you're like, you always looked at Zion and you were like, I don't know how much his legs are gonna take all that.
No,
pounding.
they were. Zion. They were calling Zion the second coming of LeBron.
Oh well, I was never of that mindset. I looked at Luka from day when he got drafted and I saw those highlights. I said, this motherfucker is nasty. My only question was, can you translate that to our style of ball? And remember, his first season, he was saying, I'm not used to this many games. This shit is wild. And then his game just fucking progressed. Like, it just progressed.
Well, he also plays less games. I just noticed that. So I wonder if that's part of the reason.
Plays less games now?
Yeah, his first year was the most games he's played in the season.
Wait, you mean since he's been a Maverick?
Yeah, his first year in the NBA.
Oh yeah, he's had injuries.
The most he's played.
Yeah, he's had injuries.
So I wonder if that's part of the reason why he was able to take a step up. Like you said, he was like, "This is a lot of fucking games.
This is a lot."
He's like,
"Stop fucking playing me during the regular season like that."
I don't need to play all 82 of these things. Let me go ahead.
He's just like, bitch, I don't need a number one seed. Fuck y'all thought. But yeah, to me, if Luka slays the Golden Slate Dragon, you are not telling me that his name's not in top 5. No, you don't put Embiid over, you don't put Joker over, you don't put anybody over Luka. Even if you want to put Luka after Giannis, after LeBron, after Durant, I don't care. He's right there after. After those 3, he's 4. And then whoever the fuck you want to put at number 5. No way he's out of that top 5.
Look, just remember, Marvin Bagley went second.
Right.
So you put him over Tatum?
If Luka slays Golden State, yes.
That's your final. So that's your finals matchup. Boston.
Jason
Dallas.
Tatum would be at number 5.
I'm confused. What?
No, he's saying that Jason Tatum is my guy. So he's like, if Jason Tatum makes it to the finals, where would he be in that top 5? He'd be my number 5. And Luka would be my number 4. And that would be arguable. I have to see how LeBron and Durant look next year. But Giannis would be my number 1. I'll put him at number 1.
Oh, in the league, you mean, right?
Right, yeah, in the league. I'd put Giannis at number 1. And then it'd be debatable 2, 3, 4 is what I'm saying.
That's very hard after that.
It'd be debatable.
Giannis, yeah, you're like you said, depends on how Durant and James look next year, but they're arguably 2 and 3,
right?
And reversible, right? And then you got Doncic, Curry. You could still put Curry up there.
And honestly, 5 or 4, I would be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You could probably put him 5 or 4 right now.
But
what I'm talking about is they're putting him number 1 right now.
Where do you put Embiid and Jokic? You know, I think they're up there.
6, 7.
You think they're 6 and 7?
Mm-hmm.
Top 5.
Look, even if I go with your theory, right? Because remember, the only thing, Joel, we disagreed on is you don't have Tatum in your top 5. So let's say I take Tatum out and put Curry in my top 5. I still have Curry in that 5 with Embiid and Jokic on the outside looking in.
I may have Embiid and Jokic over him.
Over Curry?
No, over Tatum.
Oh, that's fine. Like I said, let's take Tatum out of the 5. I'd still have Curry at number 5, so it still leaves Embiid and Jokic on the outside looking in.
I honestly might have Embiid over Luka.
There's not a fucking day on this earth I would ever take Joel Embiid over Luka Doncic. I could never. I could never.
I don't know. I have to think. This is very off the cuff.
Oh yeah, no, we're not holding each other to any of these picks. We'll reevaluate it, as we get to the start of next year. Because to me, a lot has to do with the circumstance of your team, right? Like if Golden State gets deadlier, it's like, well, fuck yeah, of course it's easy for Curry to average 30 a game.
All right. So right now, want to do a top 10 real quick.
Okay,
yeah, we can do a quick one.
Top 10.
Do you have your 10 already? Because I might have to think at least for a second.
I have my 10.
All right, do yours first, then we'll go.
Okay, are we going 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
Let's do 1 to 10.
1 to 10. Okay, Giannis.
Okay.
And again, I'm floating LeBron and Durant, but Giannis, LeBron, Durant, Luka, Jason Tatum, Stephen Curry, Joel Embiid, Jokic. And then for 9 and 10, I would definitely have to go Ja Morant at number 9. And then I'm going to have to go with, and this one was really freaking tough. I'm going to have to go with right now, Devin Booker at number 10.
Ooh. Tough because you love Devin Booker.
No. Tough because it's like I can either go Devin Booker or Chris Paul. So that's why I was
either of them are top 10.
You could. Chris Paul, top 10 in the league, top 10 player. Chris Paul is leading.
I don't know if I don't.
All I'm saying is I watched Chris Paul take OKC from a dumpster fire.
No, I agree.
Playoffs.
So that's like, fair. I'm
like, only a top 10 player could do that with 2 back-to-back franchises and take one of them to the finals.
I think they're both top 15, but
yeah, I don't know if Chris Paul's top 10. Yeah.
Again, I just watched Chris Paul take OKC and then Phoenix to places they hadn't been in forever. At his old age. That to me only a top 10 player could do.
That's
especially give him credit for OKC. But when he chose his destiny in Phoenix was already rising at that point.
They were, but you can make an argument. The year they went to the finals, could they do that without Chris Paul?
No, I don't think they do, but that's what they needed to get boosted up there. The fact that he took OKC to the playoffs is a bigger achievement.
Yes.
To me, I'm just saying what he did with those 2 franchises, you could see more likely with a top 10 player, not a top 15 player.
Right.
Like you put Donovan Mitchell on that OKC team, he's not doing that. Same roster, you just put Donovan Mitchell there. He's not doing that. Sorry, he's not doing
also not a point guard.
He's 2, isn't he?
No, I just mean the impact. The impact of Chris Paul is what I think really takes over. But okay, so that's my top 10. Whoever wants to go next, whoever has their list, go ahead.
You want to go or I can go if not?
Go ahead. I think I don't. My last 2, I'm trying to figure.
My last 2 are rough. Those might just come off whatever I end up saying.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna go Giannis. I'm Durant, LeBron, Embiid, Luka, Jokic, Tatum. Crap, my last 3 are tough. I'll probably put Ja. No, I'm sorry, I gotta backtrack. Where was I? Giannis, Durant, Embiid, Giannis, Durant, LeBron, Embiid, Steph, Luka,
right.
Tatum, Jokic, Ja, and 10. Yeah, so that's right. Because 10 was the one I'm like, God, where do I go with 10? 10 is tough. Maybe Booker. You might be right with Booker.
Trae Young, I have up there too. I don't like.
Wait, Devin Booker was questioned, but Trae Young makes top 10?
Yeah, good. You think Trae Young no slouch?
No, but I think Devin Booker's a better player than Trae Young.
That's questionable.
My Devin Booker was
arguable.
That's questionable.
It's arguable. I could see it. I honestly could see it. It's not. You act like Trae Young is a bum.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm saying
because he's so fucking good. It's why I hate him so much.
I look at what Trae, and again, because we're not doing MVP, everything matters. So playoffs and regular season. And I'm watching what Trae Young did over the course of a full fucking series. Not just 1 or 2 games, a full series. He looked fucking horrible.
But the Heat is also a really good team.
If you're a top 10 player, you have to shine brighter than that shit. I can't accept that. You got to shine bright. Why are we shitting on Durant right now? Because he laid
Booker didn't shine that bright against Dallas.
Booker and Chris Paul shed the bed.
You're talking 1 or 2 games. If Trae Young only did that for 1 or 2 games, I give it to you.
But he also didn't look that. He also didn't look that great the games that he played against New Orleans.
Devin Booker?
He had one really good game. He had one really good game, and the other 2 were.
We have to see what the is.
He scored 13 points. He scored 13 points in one of them. He had 13 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds in one of them.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of shitting in the bed this offseason. This postseason. But I do think Trae Young is I think he's a top 10 player at this point.
So you're taking him over Devin Booker. I want that on the record.
I didn't say that, but I might give you the finger. I might do it. I have Devin Booker. To me, I have Devin Booker as the best shooting guard in the league.
I thought, he does play shooting.
And it has to make top 10 for sure.
Well, that's what I mean. I was still really trying to figure out where I was going to put everybody because I have Steph Curry.
It's tough. Like I said, my list could change if I had a time to think about it.
I just have Trae Young slightly over Ja at the moment. That's all.
What?
Yeah, I do. I don't care.
I get it.
Oh man,
I get it.
Memphis has been just as good without him. That's how I look at it.
That's why I said I get it. Because you got to also look at impact to the team,
right? I mean, they didn't.
And without Trae Young, Atlanta's not making the playoffs.
They're barely.
I don't know if I say that last year. I say that this year because it seemed like everybody on that roster took a step back. But that team was a well-oiled machine last year.
I don't think they make it last year.
I think they make it last year.
What were they last year? Fifth,
yeah.
They started bad and they came out. But again, it's all Trae Young's engine of that team. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. Again, we're talking about 20 games out of 82.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
If we're looking at a full season, I don't see Memphis doing anywhere near what they did this year in a full season without.
But I forgot what their record was during those 20 games. But
they won 20-something games.
They won.
They won 20 games. I think they were like 20-8 or some shit like that. So they won a lot. But again, it's 20. Can they do that over 82? These motherfuckers couldn't do it over the course of 3. Right. So it's like 82. I mean, come on now.
Other than that last game, I mean, they were really competitive in that first one. What was it? It was a 3-point victory in that first one since he was out.
Mm-hmm.
Then they won by 40.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lost the last one. So it's not like it's not like the team took a major step back. I mean, hell, game that he played.
I'm sorry. I think what you're overlooking is the game where Ja Morant put up a 40-piece and was single-handedly the reason they won that game. Because Golden State would have gotten out of there a lot sooner had he not gotten that victory in that said game.
He also got blown out by 30 the next game, though. So it's like...
That's fair. But I've never seen Ja Morant shit the bed, is what I'm saying. In these playoff series. Just shit the bed.
He's not in it anymore, though, either. So...
I mean, neither's Trae Young. That's who we're talking about. Ja Morant and Trae Young. But Ja Morant went further.
This year. Last year, they went to the finals.
100%. Who did Memphis lose to?
Take away what they did last year. Oh, they didn't do it this year, so fuck them.
No. What are we talking about? Totality? I thought we were just talking about this year. We're talking about who's the best right now.
One of the games against Minnesota, he only scored 11. He did have 15 assists. So arguably you can say that's not a shit the bed moment, but it wasn't as opposed to everything else he's done.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
saying
not overall had a better year than most people this year. Yes, but I'm saying I look over the totality. Yes, of the most recent years, I think Trae has a better. What do they call it?
Oh, well then hold on. If that's what we're doing, then I'll change my top 10. I thought if we're talking right now, we're talking about what you've done now. Not before. What you done now.
I take into effect of the last couple of years.
I take at least I said the last 3 years.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 years. I look at it like that. Because like, what have you done for me? Like, where have you been? Like, Josh's still young, and like he started coming up last year. This year, skyrocketed, right?
Well, no, because John's been pretty great since
he's been consistently good.
Because remember, that's why we had the whole debate about the most improved player.
Yes, but we all agreed. Did he really deserve it? Like that's
No, but we still think he's fucking phenomenal.
But it's because he's supposed to be phenomenal that I don't think he deserves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone disagrees on that.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't like to. I like to go by the current year only because it's like if I look at it, Trae had the phenomenal year, then a not so good year this year. So it's
really
like,
good year
well,
this year.
No, he had a good year. It wasn't a phenomenal year.
right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm
He
like,
still averaged at 28 and almost 10 assists. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say he had a really good year.
what am I gauging
really
it
good.
really? What am I gauging it really by?
By the season, and then now the postseason.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I was gauging it by.
We had a good season. Like the Trae, not like Trae had a bad season.
No, I just didn't think he had a better season than John Morant. Again, you guys are acting like I said Trae Young's like the 6th best point guard.
Well, you almost busted the nut when I said that he was better
because
than Ja.
To be fair,
I think Ja is the best point guard in the league.
But if we're talking, to be fair,
sorry, the second
single,
best point guard, second best.
Every single number.
Curry in my top 5.
Oh no, Ja had more rebounds, but Trae Young had better. Trae Young had better points and assists. And if we're going off point guards, that's probably the two you care most about. And yeah, he was a more. If we're going
not
efficiency,
always when it comes to that, not always.
He was a. We can even go efficiency if we want to go to those nerdy numbers.
No, I'm talking about assists.
He was a more efficient player, so it's like the numbers do make sense to say Trae. It's just that Memphis was a better team, and we know that because when Trae wasn't or when Ja wasn't there, they still saw them still were a really good team,
which is crazy. That team is better than I completely expected. Obviously, obviously Ja's a big reason for it, but fuck.
I still definitely go Curry, Ja, Chris, Trae. That's how
right now I have Curry. I consider Doncic a point guard because he basically runs.
That makes it even worse. Okay, I'm sorry, Doncic, Curry, then Ja, then Chris, then Trae Young. I didn't view Luka as a point guard.
I did. Yeah, I have Luka, Curry.
Hold on, time out. If we view Luka as a point guard, don't I have to view LeBron as a point guard?
Not necessarily.
No, Luka literally runs the one though.
They call him a point guard. He's the one. Like LeBron is considered a forward. He was even playing center at some points this year.
Kind of felt like LeBron's whole career was like just being a point guard.
He's the main playmaker, but he's not the point guard on the depth chart. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're talking depth chart. Okay.
Because I was gonna say I think their point guard this year, at least I don't know.
Westbrook is the point guard.
Depth chart wise, yes. Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Still I have it that way. So Luka, Curry, Ja, Chris, and then Trae would be with the 5th.
I have the same guys. I just have them in different orders, and I have Trae over Ja, just slightly. That's it. That's really it.
So again, give me your top 10. You ain't give me your 10 yet.
Oh, you're doing my players. Players you're talking about.
Yeah, overall players, not just point guards.
Oh yeah, because we were just talking point guards.
I'm saying you didn't get a chance.
We got into the
top 10.
It's basically the same shit as Didge. But it was Giannis, LeBron, Durant. But again, they float like you said.
Yeah.
Who was next? I think I had Embiid, Jokic, Luka, Tatum. Fuck. Well, how much is that? How many is that?
7.
7. Steph. I forgot where I put him.
At 8.
That he did. He got all the way down to 10. He had stuff. Me and him were pretty similar.
Yeah, I think
KD and LeBron. We floated, but KD and LeBron. Everybody's been saying whatever.
Right. Sorry. So I got the last two. Oh, what were your last two again? Oh, it was Booker, Trae, Ja. That was basically between those three, right? That's how I have it actually. So I think I had. All right, so I guess Booker does miss out. I have Trae, I have Ja, and Booker was 11.
Damn. All right. Well, that's our top 10 That's our power rankings right now for players in the league. I really do.
That might change. Ugh.
Well, I really
not necessarily
do. Flexible.
I hope that this youth makes this a lot easier. I'm looking for Giannis, Luka. You know what I'm saying? That to be the
heir apparents, right? As they say.
Right. So I'm looking for that to make the step. And look, I'm paying very close attention to Jason Tatum. He's got to take it a step up. Like I'm paying very close attention to these Eastern Conference Finals.
He was killing it, and then second half happened.
Yeah, the second half happened, and Heat was just like, I remember who we were.
That Miami, look, the two best defenders in the league, right? You would say?
Yeah. No, they are statistically. They are. Jimmy Butler, goddamn. So I'm looking at what Jason Tatum does here, and it gives him a chance to no, the only reason why I said, because I'm like, if you're going by the playoffs, sure, because that's when Jimmy Butler fucking turns into Michael Jordan.
Jimmy,
that's what I'm assuming. That's what I was assuming that he was talking about. I didn't watch the I didn't know anything about it until you brought it to me.
He would take Jimmy Butler over Jason Tatum, just period. And I'm like, well, Jimmy Butler is a very pedestrian regular season guy. And I'm like, Jason Tatum is like the whole enchilada. I want the whole enchilada. Because I'm like, I've seen Jimmy Butler only turn it up in the playoffs, get to the finals, and have nothing left. Right? Yeah. Because he's not supposed to be that scorer. You never want Jimmy Butler to have to be your 40-point guy because he does so many things, right? So you look at it and you're like, you're going to fucking tire this guy out. I look at Jason and I'm like, that's literally all you want Jason Tatum to do is score the basketball.
That's why
you don't care if he leads in assists, rebounds, steals. Just drop 40, my guy.
That's why Hero is so important, man. Hero is important for them. Even Oladipo, whatever they give, he gets from he gives them is good too.
Is important, right? So that's the only reason I looked at it like that, Didge, is I don't usually try to judge guys just by what they do in the postseason or just what they do in the regular season. It has to always be the whole enchilada. And if it's the whole enchilada, yeah, I fucking want Tatum. Like, I just want Tatum. Sorry.
That's fair. To be fair, also that I'm looking because I was curious about that. Your thing about by the time he got to the finals, did pretty damn good that finals.
No, he did, but that's what I'm saying. He flamed out because that's not Jimmy. That's not what Jimmy wants to have to do. Think about the last couple rosters he's been on. He hasn't had to be the best player. He just so happened to be, but he wasn't supposed to be. When he went to go link up with Karl Anthony Towns, they were expecting Karl Anthony Towns to be that guy. Turns out Jimmy Butler had to be. He goes to Philly. Everyone was like, oh, Joel Embiid. Clearly, fucking Jimmy had to step up come postseason that year. So I'm like, each team he's been in, they've been looking for other guys to be that guy, but Jimmy always has to strap the boots up and be that guy. So that's all I'm saying. Because you look at Jimmy and you're like, he's a Swiss Army knife. He wants to do everything: assists, rebounds, steals, defense. He shouldn't have to do all that and give you 40. You remember that one finals games against the Lakers where he had like 40, 13, and 10? And
that was the one where he was.
Yeah, he ended the game like this and gave nothing for that next game. He's like, bitch, I gave my soul. Like, I ain't got nothing else. So that's all I mean by that. I didn't mean that as like a knock to Jimmy Butler. I just mean he's way too important. It's like picture Draymond having to give you 30 a night. Ooh. On top of assists, rebounds, and defense. That's asking too much.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like, only a few of the greats have ever done it. We talk about Jordan in that respect. So we talk about Kobe in that respect. It ain't like there's 90 motherfuckers we've seen do that in the history of the NBA. So that's all I remember. I didn't mean anything.
And he's not nearly as efficient an offensive player either.
Right. So I didn't mean any disrespect. I just meant he's way too important for so many other different reasons. You don't want him to have to drop 30 a night.
But they pay him to be the man, so.
No, they do, and that's why he steps up when they need him the most. That's why. Mm-hmm. All right. So, Joel, wait, are we completely out of the playoffs? Luka. We were talking Luka and the Suns.
Well, we did.
Yeah, I think we got through that.
All right. So we had Pat Beverly versus CP3 because Pat Beverly doesn't like Chris Paul. So I don't know why this was making the media rounds. I'm like, y'all forgot last year he shoved him in the back? Like, he doesn't like him. So I'm like, nothing about what he's saying is shocking. Now, I'd be shocked if Pat Beverly got up there and said, you know who nobody respects in the NBA? LeBron. Nobody fears that motherfucker. Who cares? Then I would go, all right, Pat, what are you talking about? Like, you're on something. But he does not like Chris Paul.
Right.
Simple. It's the same thing everyone was saying when it was Clippers versus Warriors all those years, and they were like, Chris Paul and Steph Curry do not like each other. I understand that. I understand that a lot. I very much understand that they competitively don't like each other. I don't mean outside in the real world, but Pat Beverly is very much if I don't like you on the court, I don't like you off the court. And that very much seems to be how he lives his life. So I heard his comments. And by the way, he should not do media ever again. He's very fucking condescending. He was very frustrating to watch. Like, oh, what do you mean by best player? Best player now? Yesterday? Like, Pat, the fuck do you think we're talking about? Like, just come on. So to me, I didn't think anything of this beef. I think what was more humorous of this beef was when Damian Lillard was just like, yeah, we don't fuck with Pat Beverly. He was just like, oh, okay, all right. No, Damian Lillard said it, so I believe it. So Didge, how did you take it? Because you were very much keeping up with it too.
I don't care about anything Pat Beverly has to say. To be honest, this is the same guy who, when they got traded, he admitted to everyone, or when Paul George got traded to the Clippers, he admitted to everyone that he stood on a table and I just won a fucking championship. Didn't do anything there. They didn't win that championship. Remember, they had a 3-1 lead in that bubble, and they choked it away. And now he's coming at, the bubble was it was the bubble championship. It's like, yeah, but they did it what you couldn't do. So that was already one knock against it. And then this is also the same guy who, when they won a play-in game, acted like he just won the three-peat with a game-winning shot in the game 7 of the finals, and tore off his shirt, threw it into the crowd, basically crying. So why do we care about this man's opinion? This is that guy. Didn't care. The Dame stuff was great because he basically summed up what I felt like. Why do we care about this guy's opinion?
True.
That is hilarious. No, look, you make a great point, and look, how you view, and everyone always disagrees with me when I say this, but how you view Patrick Beverly is how I've always viewed Richard Jefferson's media career. Is that motherfucker, like, he'll start talking with other champions, and it's like, you'll hear Richard Jefferson, but the way he talks, Richard Jefferson was that motherfucker in his entire playing career. And I'm like, why am I listening to Richard Jefferson right now? Like, what? There was no one else. Like, where's Clark Kellogg? Like, somebody else.
That's fair.
Over fucking, because I swear Richard Jefferson was even having a one-on-one with LeBron. And even what he was saying to LeBron was like, yeah, LeBron, you remember when we won that championship? And it's like, Richard, I feel like you shouldn't say that so confidently. Like, that's like what Kyrie could say. Like, LeBron, remember when we won that championship? Like,
what did he do?
What the fuck did you do?
I want to look that up. What did he do?
Literally, that year, all I remember from Richard Jefferson is when he dunked on Klay Thompson in that Christmas game. That's all I remember of Richard Jefferson in his entire run with Cleveland. That's it. That's all I remember. 2015,
2016.
Right.
Richard Jefferson in the regular season had a 5.5 points, 1.7 rebounds.
Sounds about right.
And 0.8 assists.
Sounds about right.
What did he do in the playoffs?
And you know whose numbers sound comparable? Patrick Beverly.
yeah, fair. That's fair.
Because, like, Joel used to always tell me, like, Juwaan, like, back in those net days, like, Richard Jefferson was getting it. And I'm like, no, I understand that. But there's, like, a whole rest of a fucking career. I would like Richard Jefferson to remember that. It just seems like he just wipes right under the rug. Richard Jefferson's just like, no, but I was great.
At his best when he was in New Jersey.
Right.
And after that, he was okay in Milwaukee. He wasn't very good in San Antonio, honestly.
He wasn't that great in Milwaukee.
He was better than he was in San Antonio. I'll tell you that. He just got progressively worse.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Richard Jefferson is a scrub. I don't believe that. I don't believe anyone that plays in the NBA is a scrub. I believe there's some not good NBA players.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the way Richard Jefferson talks is with the amount of cockiness I expect from, like, fucking Michael Jordan. Like, the way Richard Jefferson talks, you think he has a documentary coming where he sits in the sofa and goes, and I took that personally. Like, no, Richard, that's not you. You got the wrong one. So I get what you're saying about Patrick Beverly. Joel, do you kind of see it the same way?
Yeah, more or less. Like, he's just talking shit. And that's what he does. I mean, he's obviously there to push some buttons. He does it obviously on and off the court. So he's literally the most annoying player in the league. I would probably hate him if I played against him. I probably would. But you know, but also one of those guys, like, I wouldn't mind having him on my team. Like, not at all, because he's gonna be a pest. Yeah, but as long as he's my pest, I don't care, right? But he's gonna keep pushing buttons. Right now, very disrespectful what he's saying about it's Chris Paul's a legend, you know. At the very least, he acknowledged that the man's going to the Hall of Fame. But the fact that he's felt like it was easy, you know, like Chris Paul didn't earn that shit. Like, okay.
Right. And then he also is like, oh, Chris Paul right now is like a cone. We call him cone. It's like, bitch, he's 90. Yes.
Like, 36 or 37 now years old.
Like, bro, we forget when Jordan was able to beat the Celtics and Lakers. Look how fucking old the Celtics and Lakers were. So, yeah, if I'm Jordan, I'm like, this shit's a cakewalk. Bitch, I'm 90. Yes, it's a cakewalk. What did we do to you all those years before? So I'm like, if you're telling me today Chris Paul isn't the defender he used to be, I would say, yeah, so is LeBron. LeBron's not a great defender today, but you wouldn't expect him to be. He's old as hell in basketball years. He's old as hell.
It was weird. That was another part that was weird. It's like Chris Paul went to, I think it was 9 straight all defensive teams.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
so it's like clearly
he
has
led the league. I think he led the league in assists this year.
Led the league in assists, and I think there was a year he led the league in steals. I think a few years he led the league in steals.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the man is a phenomenal defensive player, but if you're telling me in year 97 he's not the same as he was in year 10, I would say, well, yeah, just mathematically, I would understand that. Like, duh.
Way to kick a man while he's down.
Right, yeah. But to me, I equate kicking a man when he's down after he whooped your ass is the equivalent to going to play for the team that beat you. That's the same exact thing. You don't get to say shit. Like, you got a chance to prove it when you played me and you didn't. I beat your ass. So go home, sit with that, and shut your mouth. But all right, Joel, I want to pass it to you. We only got 2 more topics before we get out of here. I want to pass it to you. Donovan Mitchell's night out in New York City at the hockey game. I want you to give us a little bit about that hockey game before we go into Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. Yeah, well, they were there for a reason and not just to catch a regular season game. It was a game 7 elimination game where the Rangers at that point came back from being down 3-1 in that series. They came back and won that game, and that was in overtime. So you were seeing a hell of a comeback from the Rangers to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and take the lead and make it to the second round. So good on them, because that was You know what's funny? I didn't watch the game, and I did it on purpose because I felt like through the series, every game I don't watch, we win. So I'm like, I'm not going to jinx it. Was the elimination game? It's been working. I had a chance. I was like, overtime, let me try. You know what? Fucking no, I'm not going to watch it. So I didn't. And it worked. God damn it. We won that game. So very happy, very exciting. So that's why they were there. A lot of guys, there was some Jets there, Giants there, Mets there.
Mets were there. Yeah.
A lot of local teams were in attendance. Fucking Tibbs and Dayball were there. So that was cool. But yeah, that was a fascinating game. And obviously, fucking Quickly and Donovan Mitchell were there together, right?
Together, so. Yes. The tea leaves. I'm reading the tea leaves. It has been prophesied that means everything. Everything. It means everything. I already printed out my Donovan Mitchell shirts. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. I'm bracing myself. No, but to our fans that are like, I don't know what the fuck. Donovan Mitchell plays for the Utah Jazz, and he is from New York. So it is not out of the ordinary that he would be in New York, especially if New York teams are succeeding. He's a big Mets fan. The Mets are on fire right now. And it would make sense that, I didn't even know they were a team. But the Rangers.
I recognize, bitch.
The Rangers, obviously they're doing Rangers, right? I'm not tripping. The Rangers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just said
no, I know you did, and I saw the logo behind you, but part of me was just like, no, you're fucking this up. But the Rangers doing well.
They do also have the Islanders in New York, so it's
they do.
They do, but I wasn't sure which was the game that he was at. That's what I was
okay.
It was at the Garden.
So yeah, so to me, it's like him being there isn't the shocking part. Him hanging out with Emmanuel Quickly, is the fun part that New York fans are just like, oh yeah. Julius, pack your shit.
I believe Quickly was at his house earlier that day too. So they were hanging out.
They were. He was just like, yeah, like is Tibbs like, tell me how Tibbs is. And it's like, oh, he's not that bad. You know, luckily you're not young, so you get playing time, so it's pretty cool.
Tibbalicious.
But I mainly just took that more so as like, if Donovan Mitchell is interested in getting out of Utah, that's a great sign. If he's not, that's a swift kick in the balls. Like, I'm going to look back and I'm going to go, you fucking piece of shit, Donovan Mitchell. You're on my Trae Young list. Like, you just made the Trae Young list. But no, again, it's just something fun for New York fans to hold on to. You know what it reminds me of, Didge? When New England first signed Darrelle Revis, somebody had started the meme of, oh, I saw Darrelle Revis at the airport. You know that meme that every Patriot fan uses now?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, I heard this guy's coming, and it's a picture of somebody that's clearly not the player they're referring to. It's like that for for Knicks fans, where it's like, oh, yo, I heard he was coming, and then it's like you look at the real picture of it, and you're like, he's not coming. He's not going to be here.
Yeah, it's not going to be now. You can't do shit right now because it's still playoffs. But, you know, you never know what was said between the two while they were hanging out.
I hope a lot. I hope a lot. I hope a shit.
He was in the building. He looked up into the stands. You see all the retired jerseys.
And he was just like, yeah, my number is going to be hung here, right next to Carmelo Anthony's. That's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Anthony's not even up there.
He will be. He didn't retire yet. Relax, Joel. Damn, let him retire. Jeez.
We'll see.
Now, somebody that needs to be looking up and reminiscing is Julius Randle, so he can look up as he packs his shit to walk out. That's what he needs to be doing right at this moment. But Didge, I usually set myself up for this. I played Lauryn Hill's Zion every single fucking minute of every single day.
That's a rough one.
Nothing broke my heart more than I was just like, 3. Wait a minute, but there's 2 more to go. I don't think they understand. I need 1. Like, 1, motherfuckers. And it didn't help that he went to the Pelicans. Like, bitch, you squandered Anthony Davis. We've never had an Anthony Davis that we squandered.
Right.
Fucking fuck ups. So that really broke my heart. But Didge, you're not a Knicks fan or necessarily a big time Donovan Mitchell fan. So how did you view this? Were you just like, oh, boo-hoo Knicks fans? Like, or was it like, oh, there could be some tea leaves there?
I mean, I'm always a little skeptical when any fan base, not even just Knicks fan base, any fan base makes a big deal out of a player showing up at a game and, you know, being like, oh, this is big news. And it's like, sometimes players just like to go to games, you know? So it could very well mean something. I didn't know he was there. Was he there with anybody? I guess I missed that part.
He was there with his crew, but it was his crew and Emmanuel Quickly. That he was like literally there with
the Nick. He was there with the Nick.
But it's like, so that's what I thought. So I was gonna say it could be something. I mean, you would hope that if anything, Quickly should be in his ear, like, this is fun, ain't it? We can do this a lot. You know, all you got to do is come to New York. But at the same time, like you said, he's from the area.
Mm-hmm.
Could just be like, all right, I'm home. Don't got much to do. This is like a 3-1 comeback. I would love to see a good hockey game.
Man.
I'm there. So I think it remains to be seen. I do think that he's not going back to Utah because what was it? They said that Rudy Gobert said that one of them has to go. Mm-hmm. And I think Utah is going to probably say, well, we'll keep you.
I tell you what, if you're Utah, be careful because those very exact words, "we'll keep you," is what derailed Oklahoma City Thunder. When they looked Serge Ibaka in the eyes and said, what do you do well? Blocking. Interesting. Harden, what do you do well? Oh, everything else. Yeah, we want to keep Ibaka. Harden, you can go. And they still to this day are like, why the fuck did we do that? Like, you can find anyone that's a solid defensive player. What Harden does not grow off trees. And they tried. Victor Oladipo. They tried with Reggie Jackson. They tried with numerous different outfits. And it won't James Harden. It was not James Harden. So if you're Utah and you got to choose between a guy who does nothing but defense and a guy that does everything else, don't make the same mistake, but make the same mistake because I want him here. but don't make that same mistake. Like, be smarter. Be smarter. Look at it. Call OKC and say, hey, what the fuck were you thinking when you chose defense over everything else? Oh, because that doesn't grow on trees. Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're going to keep Donovan. We're not doing that shit. That's stupid. But no, you're not wrong, Didge. You're not wrong. But look, like I said, I'm starving. I'm starving for a fucking superstar. Either we home grow one with RJ or we buy one. Those are the only two things I'm looking forward to. That's why I'm like, Julius can't be here next year, so RJ can fully grow. I need him to fully grow, and he can't do that with Jules being here. He just can't. I need the ball in RJ's hands for him to make decisions.
I don't see RJ in your background at all, though. Where is RJ?
Unfortunately, this photo put him right where my head is. He's right where my look, right there, right where my head is.
You got to slide off to the side, you know.
Bro, you know how angry I was because when I first saw this photo, the way it looked as though RJ was where Randall is. I'm like, fuck yeah. I put this shit behind me, and I'm like, I'll be goddamn.
You can flip it.
Like what?
I think, can't you?
No, I tried that already. Fucking mother.
Yeah, if you. Oh yeah, because it mirrors the whole video. It doesn't mirror just the.
Right. Yeah. So I tried it though. I'm like, goddamn, 3 people I don't want on my roster next year is shining bright. And it's like, poor RJ. He's just reaching for my affection. You have it, RJ. I promise you have it. All right, let's move on to the NFL. We got a whole bunch of rookie practices that went on. Obviously, no video from it. Got a few photos. Didge, you know this from if you follow Mike Reese on Twitter. Now, I had Joel dying laughing yesterday, Didge. I was telling Joel, like, this is going to be one of our topics. And I'm like, Joel, I watched an interview where Joe Judge said, yes, I don't know what my position is, but I've been doing a lot of work with Mac Jones. And I said, okay, I can't breathe, but hold on. Let me hear what Matt Patricia has to say. Matt Patricia was like, oh, yeah, I'll double down on that. I don't know what my job is either, but I've been working with the offensive line. And I went, okay, hold on. Wait a minute. A defensive coach is with my offensive line, and a special teams coach is with my fucking quarterback. I'm like, why is this making me feel very uneasy right now? I can't breathe. I don't like any of this. And then Bill comes out. Then Steve comes out, who was a defensive coordinator. And he's like, yeah, I very much don't know what I'm doing this year. And I'm like, oh no, wait, what? No, I don't like any of what any of this sounds like. Why is he putting the wrong pieces of the chess? I
swear, I just scrolled, kept scrolling. I was like, you know what? I can't deal with it. I'm not. I was having a decent day. This is not gonna ruin my day.
Like, I'm telling you right now, if the Knicks make a big splash in this offseason, I will not watch not one fucking Patriot game. They are really stressing the fuck out of me right now. And not a football has been snapped. And I already couldn't breathe just reading. I'm like, oh God, I can't.
Did you see what he was saying when he asked? Does that mean he's gonna call plays? Joe Judge gave the most non-answer ever. I was like, you cannot tell me, you cannot give me that answer.
What was Joe Judge's answer, Didge?
It was essentially like, look, we haven't really talked about it much. I'm not gonna say I have, and I'm like, no, don't. And that was the last part I had saw it. I was like, I'm done.
Bro, because like when because I follow I can't remember his name right now. Evan Lazar. I follow Evan Lazar, who does coverage for the Patriots. And he was like breaking down like, you know, the rookie day. And he was like, yeah, so Joe Judge was with Mac Jones all day and Matt Patricia was with the offensive line. And I thought he was saying they were there, right? Like they were just there. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You want to kind of get a lay of like, all right, if I'm structuring my defense, I want to see how good the offensive line is so I can structure my defense better. And when he was like, no, like he was like running with the offensive line and he was running with Mac Jones. I was just like, I'm what? I'm like, I just saw what Joe Judge did with another Jones and I didn't like that at all. I don't want him with my Jones. Like, no, thank you. No. We got all these wide receivers you can coach up. Why are you going to my quarterback? Like, what's happening here? I've never wanted a team to fail more than I want the Raiders to fail. so Josh can come home. I can't take this instability out in this motherfucker. It happens every time Josh McDaniels leaves. Bill does some fuck shit. He's just like, yeah, positionless. Nothing has a name. And it's like, why do you do this when Josh leaves? Is he our stability? Is that what happened?
He's let's keep him Bill in check.
Yeah, I'm like, God damn. Like, I feel like every time Bill's like, all right, we're going to do no coaches this year. Like, fucking Josh McDaniels walks in and goes, Bill, take your pills. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Could very well be.
Stop it. And when there's no Josh, it's like, I have full control. I want my defensive coordinator with my offense. I want my special teamers with my quarterback. I want chaos. And it's like, all right, Bill, tell you what, you fuck around and not make the playoffs this year. Go ahead, fuck around. Fuck around. Robert Kraft's looking for a reason. Go ahead and fuck it up. Go ahead, I dare you. But you did see Didge. We dropped King, the quarterback that's supposed to be our Swiss Army knife. He was playing a lot as wide receiver.
Yeah,
we already dropped him, and it's like, God
I saw that. I was like, Jesus,
like, what the fuck did you do?
like, did you miss practice? What happened?
Like, goddamn, like, you essentially got fired on your day off. You ain't doing much. You're running like very basic drills. They just want to get a look at you.
Right?
Did he even make it
to? That was that today. There you got. I remember seeing. I can remember yesterday.
It was yesterday. Bill must have looked at him and said, "You are no Julian Edelman." So bye.
Like, what?
You will never be Jules. So okay, all right, whatever. Joel, I saw a lot in the Giants. Saquon Barkley looking godly as usual, turning into the Hulk in the offseason. We usually like to see it during the regular season, but he goes full Hulk in the offseason. So what are your thoughts on some of the snapshots you saw or some of the things you heard from the Giants camp?
I mean, everything sounds good. Always sounds great. No, they rarely talk about the bad shit that goes through there. So far so good. I love seeing a lot of my guys in uniform ready to play. But it's all great. I just like seeing like who's getting the snaps right now, who's getting looked at. Like I really look forward. I love depth charts. So I like seeing who's gonna start. And like seeing who gets like first. Like I hear good things about Bellinger, their tight end that we drafted like the 4th round or some shit. Good. That's what I want because that's one of the spots I think is open. So, like I said, I think the Giants have now I think like 6 spots that are open. So there's definitely like spots that we have that can be taken. Because right now I have guys penciled in as starters, but like right now, strong safety is open. One of the inside linebacker positions is open. Nose tackle's open. Tight end is open. Left guard is open. You know what I mean? Those are definitely those can be those positions can be won out in cornerback. One of the cornerback spots is open. So look at that. So there's a lot of open competition. I just can't wait to see who comes out on top, at least to start. Because even in the beginning of the season, I mean, it stays that way. So.
And look, shout out to Bellinger because the bar's low. First thing coaches said to him is like, "Hey, do you catch?" Yeah, of course I catch. Thank God, the last guy that was here didn't. So welcome to the
block
team.
Either.
It's like, hey, can you do the basic things that a tight end can do? Yeah, welcome to the team. That's all I needed to hear, baby. That's it. Our last guy did none of this. So, welcome.
That's a start.
Because it's so funny, Didge. Me and Joel watched that Evan Ingram game. We watched it together. I went over his house, and we're watching like, all right, the Giants got this game. Evan catches that third and long. Giants secure the victory. That goes a long way in that division. This motherfucker just looks at it go right through his hands, just like, Evan, no.
Sometimes the moment becomes too big. I don't know.
As Joel, I defended Evan Ingram. I'm like, no, Evan Ingram can step up. And it was just like, oof, I just got to stop talking.
Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
I just got to stop running my mouth, man.
I wish him luck in Jacksonville, but he's fast.
I don't think it's going to get any easier there.
Look, the first thing they're going to ask Evan Ingram, hey, like, are you a tight end? And he'll say, yeah. And it's like, well, you're already better than our last guy, Tim Tebow. So welcome. Welcome to the team.
That going for him.
All right. Our last topic here is most anticipated game of the year. Shout out to Didge for that in the NFL. I'll start it off here, so I'm not putting you guys in the hot seat. My most anticipated game of the year is whatever the second game is between the Chargers and the Chiefs, because that will define.
You went with a division game.
100%. because that division, I believe, will have most of the most entertaining games of all season. Is that game?
Okay.
So I believe whatever that second game is, because I called it last year on Joe's football show. I said the Chargers are going to win the first game. Chiefs are going to win the second game. It's always how it is between those two. And I very much feel as though Justin Herbert will be better away than he is at home. It's very strange. Don't ask me, but some of these younger kids work like that. Fucking Joe Burrow couldn't win a game outside of his division until he got to the playoffs. All his most impressive games were, no, I'm sorry. He could only win games outside of his division. He was very much struggling with a lot of his games in division. So I'm going that, but if you want me to choose a game that's not in the division.
No, it's fair. You can pick whatever game you want.
No, I got to back up. Very much the game I'm looking forward to the most next year is Packers Giants New Mexico.
I thought they were in England.
Are they in England? I thought it was New Mexico. Who's in New Mexico?
An game. That's Giants playing the England game.
They're in London.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, regardless, wherever they are, that's the game I'm looking forward to is Giants Packers.
Okay.
Giants Packers is in London. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the game I'm looking forward to.
The game that's in Mexico, to answer that question, I just saw it, is San Fran, Arizona.
Oh, okay. Oh, I very much look forward to that game. Yeah. But okay, so that's me. Did you want to go next?
Yeah, the game I'm most interested in is LA versus LA Rams, I guess I should say specifically, versus Kansas City in Week 12. Rams going into Arrowhead, so already that should be interesting. They're going to be on the road, but by then, obviously, both teams should be on their playoff push. And I'm extremely interested in seeing if Kansas City's offense takes a step back this year without having Tyreek Hill. And while they're going to have a bunch of interesting matchups leading up to there, I think this is probably one of their most difficult, at least looking at it on paper. So
yeah, look, I'll say this: Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers will never find an easier way to become MVP. Ever. You lost your best weapon, and if you go out there and secure the best record in your specific conferences or divisions, rather, sorry, that's easy. Win MVP.
And I will say my backup one, just because you had gave your second one, was Rams in Green Bay. I think that's Week 15.
Okay.
I think
we got a few up there, but I just never like to jinx New England. But we got a few.
Yeah, I didn't want
Bills game later in the season. It's going to be very interesting, quite like it was last year. So
yeah, I didn't want to give any New England games because I was like, it's already known. I want to see my team play. So
right, got you, Joel. What you going with?
Well, I haven't really paid attention to the team schedules. So like Giants, Packers in London, obviously. Giants, Cowboys on Thanksgiving, I believe.
We play Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, we play the Vikings.
Oh shit, yeah.
So yeah, and I gotta make plans for that too. Like fuck, I think we play New Year's too. Am I wrong? I'm thinking something.
I got the entire schedule up. I scroll look.
Tell me what my schedule looks like.
Tell me what my New Year's schedule.
Yeah, most teams play New Year.
Really?
New Year's is Sunday this year. I did not know that.
Oh, motherfucker.
So yeah, most
I don't think I've ever watched a football game during New Year's Day.
No, to be honest, I'm usually hungover on New Year's Day.
No, I usually watch the next New Year's Day, or New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. They usually play New Year's. They played New Year's Eve last year. I'll say that.
They're on New Year's Day this year. They got the Thursday game and then no Saturday games, which will be New Year's Eve, and then Giants are the early game. Oh, so is New England. Oh,
I love early games. I hate late games.
Not on New Year's Day. Games. I'm probably going to be hungover.
Look, and if New England sucks by that point, I'll be hungover too.
My dude.
Also true.
Just order a pizza. It'll be all right.
That shit usually soaks it up.
Yeah.
All the time. Like
so I was just like, bleh, bleh, pizza. All right, that's all we got. I want to end you guys on this really quickly. Joel, I just saw that photo. I'm gonna send it to Didge. Oh my god, I am dying laughing. That shit is hilarious. Where's Didge at? Hold on, let me send it to him. Oh my god. All right, so I want to end this on this, guys. We got our trailer to She-Hulk today.
Yeah.
We got our trailer to She-Hulk today. Did you see it, Didge?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
That is hilarious, bro. If Donovan Mitchell goes to the Knicks, that might have to be like
you gotta Photoshop his face on that.
That might have to be his new Twitter photo. But we got our first trailer for She-Hulk. I kind of expected it when I heard the rumors about the release date, that Marvel was gonna do something to clarify, like, hey, we said it first. Fuck a leak.
Right.
This is the official release date. Yeah. August 17th. Yeah,
also, it's official now.
Yeah.
That's why I assumed when the rumor came out, and then I didn't hear anyone debunking it. It was like, oh, Disney's gonna come out and like, hey,
you're like,
we want to say it. So the trailer I thought was cool. Again, I always just have to wait to see how Marvel does things. Me and Joel were going back and forth about Thor: Love and Thunder about that, but I'm not a fan of her being able to turn it on and off. I'm just not a fan of that. Okay. This looks like it's gonna be she goes on and off and then decides to just stay She-Hulk going forward. But to me, it's like I like when it's not a decision, right? Because then when it's a decision, it's like, why do you want to do that? That's the whole point of what made it special, was that she had no choice, so she had to accept it. Yeah. But now that you could just be regular, why the fuck would you ever be this tall ass green monster walking around? Like, why? So to me, I did not like that at all. But seeing Emil Yablonsky again was really cool. Always love seeing Tim Roth. Yeah. So I was excited for that. But and Joel, I'll pass it to you to give your thoughts on the on how she looked, because I don't want to step on you with that, because you brought that up. So
I just felt like, I liked the trailer. I want to see it again on my big TV, because at the time when it came out, I watched it on my phone. I didn't even know it was out. I was like, fucking Juwaan texted me, like, that was weird. I'm like, what was weird? I was taking a nap. I was like waiting for my fiance. But I was like, oh, that's dope. I was like, because I heard someone say something about like, oh, rumors it might come out today, but I didn't really pay attention. And then literally it came out like probably not long after I read that. And like I liked, well, again, I love the whole comedy aspect of it, but just looking at her, a lot of what I saw of her, it seemed like it's not polished yet. Like there needs to be more work on her visuals. Like, so see, the CGI still needs work. Like I don't think they're done yet. Obviously, it's just maybe that's what the issues are. Been that's why it's taking so long. They need to just polish that up a little bit more, and it'll look better, hopefully. But she looks great. I just sometimes you could definitely.
There were some weird scenes where it's like, oh, this something broke a little bit here.
I'm gonna be honest. What bothered me the most, face-wise, was that whenever she was green and you saw her face, I swear to God, it looked like, you ever see those shots where you just kind of plaster someone's real face over something fake, but it's just floating? Like that's what it looked like, and it's like maybe you could have just hidden the face. You know what I'm saying?
It just
like just some action shots so we see it from a distance. Mm-hmm. But if you didn't have it perfect yet, you
honestly,
didn't have to show it yet.
The Hulk looked great.
Visually, I mean, shit. At that point, it's just like, how do you fuck that up? You only been doing it for years now.
I know. But why did they? It looked like there was more details to him than like her. Right. And like, well, what happened? Like,
what did you do?
Right.
Why is there more detailed on Bruce, but not on Jennifer? So we'll see. Maybe it just needs more time.
Right, and it's so funny because they swapped the characters. So it looks like in this point where we see Bruce in the trailer, he is just Hulk, right? She then takes over. You won't like me when I'm angry. I get angry. Oh, now I transform. And it's like, I want to see Bruce fucking do that again. Like, I don't need to see her doing it. Switch it before you have a whole generation thinking Bruce Banner is always Hulk and she transforms. That's why I say sometimes the MCU gets murky.
I don't think that's gonna be that way. I don't, because like
that's fine.
He's going to stay the Hulk. You know, and we already know that he's gonna go back to being Bruce at some point.
Yeah, because we saw that as the end credit scene. I do want to see if that gets retconned or if Feige does hold true to that.
Don't see why not. I mean,
only because. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Blonsky's human too.
Yeah, no, we talked about that. Shout out to Ethan who wrote to us. Do the Mavs have any chance of beating the Warriors? I would say yeah.
I don't think they do.
Chance? Sure.
I would say yeah.
I mean, I guess there's always a chance, but I don't see it happening.
Look, I'll tell you this. If you want to beat Golden State, the best way to do it is for someone as annoying as Luka to be guarded by somebody as equally as annoying as Draymond. For Luka to get in Draymond's head, get that motherfucker fouled out. Once you do that, is Clay of today stopping Luka Doncic? No. Is Andrew Wiggins stopping Luka Doncic? No.
Only one that can stop Luka Doncic is on Doncic's bench. His name is Frank Ntilikina.
That's for damn sure. No, but seriously, I watched Mikal Bridges, who was one of the runner-ups for Defensive Player of the Year, just seemed completely uttered useless when it came to defending Luka Doncic. Crowder couldn't do it. Mikal Bridges couldn't do it. So I'm like, yeah, if Luka just has an insane 7-game series, I could see them pulling it out for sure. Now he's going to have more than 140 piece. That's for sure. It will be required.
40 maybe.
Yeah, and look, me and Joel are not joking when we say the best way for the Mavs to win is for the Mavs to put the ultimate weapon on Steph Curry. You put Frank Ntilikina on that motherfucker. Dallas Mavericks have a great shot. I'm telling you, Frank Ntilikina. Hey, I'm telling you, I seen him lock up Luka Doncic for a Knicks win one day. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Pretty sure that's why they signed him.
That's exactly why. Luka said, you gotta go get him. I saw that. Put him on my bench.
I also seen Frank Ntilikina get crossed over and scored upon by Trae Young. 100%. Now, that is not perfect.
Apples to oranges. Didge, we'll go back to you. What were your thoughts on the She-Hulk trailer?
I think it's gonna be something that's really fun. I saw they said Wong's gonna be in it, and so I hope they revisit the whole thing with him and Abomination. I want to know if they touch on that.
They better.
I think that's why he's because look,
I don't even need a full explanation. I just want it to be touched again. That was such a fun part of Shang-Chi.
One very important part of this trailer was how that guy made her defense seem like it's a new thing we're opening up, and it essentially seems like she's starting with Abomination. So it seems like it's a whole rehabilitation thing. And it seems like Wong was kind of giving him a way to kind of exercise some of that stress and frustration in a healthy environment.
Yeah.
But it looked very controlled. Like if Abomination decided, I want to kill some people, Wong would easily said, nope, you take your ass home.
Right.
I did not bring you out for none of that. So that's very interesting to me.
The picture that I sent you, that's so funny.
That was dying when he's like, let's split some fries. And she's like, yeah, but let's take it to go. It's just like, what's happening here?
I don't know if he sent it to you here. I'll send it to you, Joel. This guy, he tweeted it. He was like, it should have been me. And the picture of the guy being held. I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
Bro, I was dying when they were like, eye fucking each other. Then she's just scooping him up. I'm like,
I was like, yeah.
He's very promiscuous in the comic books. He's very,
I didn't think Marvel would sort of take it there.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Stark was trying to put his thing in anything to start the MCU. Why can't women be that open? Why can't they, right? If they want to be,
the MCU is even so, it's still largely like asexual. Like there's not a lot of romance.
Wait, Didge. Tony Stark proclaimed his love to Pepper at the end of Iron Man 1. And then was I fucking Black Widow right in front of her. So I'm like, if he could do that, why can't she pick up a man
but,
and take him to the bedroom?
Like I said, other than moments, MCU is largely just all right, we do our day jobs, we go home and cuddle. Right. Like it's not like
if you want to ignore the fact that we just watch Eternals have sex, yeah, sure.
I completely forgot about the Eternals.
We watched a full-on sex scene. Yeah. Come on, man. Marvel's starting to open it up a little bit, man.
Yeah, apparently.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
But no, I think it's going to be a very fun series. At least that's what I got from the trailer. So yeah. I'm up for watching it.
Yeah.
Fun. Fun.
And I'm very intrigued to see what new things about Thor: Love and Thunder are coming up soon, because during this whole Miami Celtics game, they've been promoting the movie a lot. They even had a little commercial with Tyler Hero, with Chris Hemsworth, Taika, and I keep forgetting her name. Oh my God, Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson. Yeah.
Well, there's rumored to be another trailer coming next week. Well, beginning of June.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and they said. So, well, I guess they had their their advertiser day today, or something like that.
Upfront. Well, yeah, upfront.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that makes perfect sense. We said that. We said once June hits, you're fully into promotion for Thor.
Yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
You're very much just like, hey, Miss Marvel, I'm glad you're here, but Thor, sorry, come here, Thor time. So I expect to see a lot more photos to come from Entertainment Weekly within the next week or two. And then it'll lead up to the release of the trailer for sure.
Yeah, most likely.
And I kind of feel like if Marvel's smart, the next trailer should be where you kind of open it up for tickets. I don't need you to wait till closer to July. Maybe if you do it this early, it's not as hectic. But who knows? People are fucking animals out there with these tickets. Goddamn.
Again, smaller city.
You never have that problem. Well, yeah, as much as me and Joel would like to say we're in a smaller city, New Jersey refuses to allow us to say that.
When you guys were talking about that for Doctor Strange, I thought I had bought my ticket early. I realized the week of, I was like, oh crap, I didn't buy a ticket early. Let me go and log in. When it logged in, I was at the first showing on Thursday. Like, oh, perfect. Great seat, everything.
Like I said, it's one of those things where it's just like, you just got to be on top of that. Like when a text goes out, hey, you going? It can't be my bad, yo. I was in the bathroom, or my bad, I was at work. I didn't see your text. No, that's cool. You're just not going.
Oh yeah. Like, a lot of my friends from Chicago, they be saying that too. So like, whenever I go down there, like if I go down to try to watch a movie with them, they're like, no, you need to know because we gotta order ours and be ready.
100%. Don't fuck around.
I do not fuck around.
Don't fuck around. We need to get this ticket. You want this ticket? Let's get this ticket. Don't fuck around now. Yeah. But all right, guys. So we gave you a little bit of geeky here, because I didn't want a full day to go without us not talking about it at all. And there was no way I was going to do a trailer reaction without Joel. So needed him here. Had to do it with him. I've done almost all my MCU trailer reactions with Joel. So wasn't going to break the streak here, especially for the most perplexing one yet. So it's like, if we've done the mountaintops, the ones that aren't quite there yet, definitely have to break that down with them.
Like, what?
Yeah, because I'm like, when I text you, like, that was really weird. Like, not only that it just randomly dropped, but that they didn't make sure she just looked pristine. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that.
Choice.
Work on that. Oh, Didge, two really quick things before we get out of here. I wanted to ask you specifically, because me and Joel talked about it together ad nauseum. But now that you saw that photo that they released of the two of King Valkyrie, Mighty Thor, and Basset that they just dropped, do you if you try to add context to that, does it kind of seem more so now like Zeus is assembling like a meeting of the gods?
So are you assuming it's that same scene that we saw in the teaser? Yeah. I could see that, which would make sense because remember we were wondering if the blue cape was Valkyrie. Remember that was something we had kept asking. Right. So it would make sense actually.
So I'm curious if this takes place later on in the movie after Thor finds out about Mighty Thor, right? They have that little battle. I think so. Now I believe, and this is what's gonna really kind of get me hyped for this movie. I believe that fight where she grabs the hammer and Thor's just like, bitch, what? I think that takes place earlier in the movie. And then they take it from Earth up to the heavens.
It could.
And that's where it's the mighty showdown of Gore and his army versus all the gods that are left. And we get to see Zeus maybe in all of his glory. So now I feel like maybe Zeus won't die. So maybe he won't.
Well, we were assuming that the other big red one was Hercules. Right. Maybe that was Zeus.
Maybe it's Zeus. Because now I'm kind of like, I can still see Zeus dying. Like, oh shit, Gore kills Zeus right before he has his final battle with Thor. 100% could see it. I also could see Kevin Feige just like, what else could I do with Zeus? Hercules, I haven't shown yet. Let's save him for that. So I'm like, it could be somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Because look, if they wanted to give Hercules his own series, I wouldn't be against that at all. I'd be very much for that. And what better way to sell that Hercules series than with fucking Russell Crowe?
And I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to do an Olympian series.
For sure, right? It could be hand in hand. Zeus's, I'm sorry, Hercules series could be that. So I'm like, there's a lot of good things you could do.
Ares too. That'd be fun.
Right. So I'm like, there's a lot of fun things you could do with it. So I could see him living. So I just wanted to ask you, if putting context to it, could you see that as like, bro, Gore is killing a lot of gods out here. Like, we need to assemble the gods.
I did think it was an assembly of the gods. I didn't think about it being Zeus assembling it, but I think now that you bring it to my attention, I think you might be right. It makes sense.
The only reason I said I think Zeus is assembling it is because I do believe, and I could be extremely wrong, so I'm talking out of my ass. This isn't comic book logic or anything, but I would have assumed Odin held rank. And Odin would have called that meeting if he were still alive. But with Odin being dead, Zeus is obviously the next big motherfucker, right? So it's like, well, then it's now on him to do so. And that's why I think if you're Thor, it was important for both Valkyrie and Mighty Thor to be there. Because if anything were to happen to Thor, it's best that the gods know who the next in line for Asgard is. Right? So if we ever have to do another big thing, you're not looking like, who the fuck are you? You know, these are the next two, like, these two represent Asgard if I'm not there. Right? Even fuck it. I'm here now and they represent Asgard. So it's like,
right, because technically Thor is off doing his own thing.
Right, and that's King of Asgard is Valkyrie. So it's like, yeah, get to know them, because if something ever happens to me, they are who would be at the next few PTA meetings. Right. So yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on that. And last thing, shout out to the showrunner of Kenobi that said we could be seeing some old and familiar faces heading into this series.
I saw that, and
I started getting weak Didge, and I was like, I can't wait to break this down with Didge. Oh my god!
I saw that, and I was just like, I don't want to get into a rabbit hole of just like, all right, I got to know who I can anticipate.
I already went down there. I already went down there, Didge. I already went down the Darth Maul rabbit hole. I went down the Cad Bane rabbit hole. I went down the Cody rabbit hole.
I think Cody's a given. Cody's a given
too.
I even
Darth
went
Maul,
down.
I'm not sure.
I even went down the retcon because everyone always tells me, oh, canonically Asajj Ventress dies. Bullshit. Dave Filoni said bullshit. Asajj Ventress did not die on screen. That's not canon. Like, we saw Darth Maul actually die on screen and brought him back. So I'm like, shit, Asajj Ventress could be a really cool person to pop up in that, whether it's flashbacks or whatever. So I'm like, bro,
yeah, and I guess that's also the point. We don't know what they mean by old and new friends showing up. We assume that he meant, we assume that they meant essentially, oh, it's gotta be a new sighting for them. It's like, well, no, this show could very well it has to have a lot of flashbacks. I have to imagine. Right. Well, I just have to imagine just from what we got from the synopsis, I'm assuming that this show is going to be very flashback driven. The man went through, he has to be like, right, I got to think about what just happened.
Bro, I expect to see Yoda in this series.
Yeah, I do expect to see Yoda.
I expect to see Yoda. Shit, if I'm being honest with you, I expect to see Bo-Katan. I expect to see Bo-Katan in this
I didn't think about that.
They have a crazy relationship, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan very much believes Obi-Wan Kenobi got her sister killed. Very much so.
I didn't even
There is no love lost there. So I'm like, that'd be really cool to see Bo-Katan run into Obi-Wan Kenobi like, bitch, I thought you were dead. Hey, y'all, hey, he's right over here. Kenobi. Like, fuck this guy. But yeah, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is Cody and Darth Maul. That's who I'm really hoping we see.
Darth Maul may be I don't see another fight with him and Darth Maul.
It depends, because it's really murky where this takes place and where we know Darth Maul dies in Rebels. So that's why I'm very confused on that timeline.
Well, when he saw Maul again, didn't he say this was the last time I've seen you since? I gotta rewatch.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. But
okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
But here's the biggest problem. We have no idea how old Luke was supposed to be in that said moment. So I'm like, this is only 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
So I'm like, if Luke's 10 years old, I don't know if Luke was 10 in that exact moment where Darth Maul killed him. I have no idea how old Luke fucking was in that moment. I don't know.
He still looked young. You can see him in the background of that in that episode.
No. Wait. Yeah, and he looked around the same age as this kid here.
Which is weird because that was the Alec Guinness looking Obi-Wan.
Right. So that's why I'm saying I don't know. Everyone that's like, no, impossible to see Darth Maul. I don't know that. Like, is he necessary? Absolutely not. You haven't.
I'm not keeping my hopes up. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but I am keeping my hopes up for Cal Kestis. I need them to meet out of
that. I do really hope, especially with the next game coming out.
How about if they connect it with the next game?
But that's what I'm saying. I want you to start with the show and then let the show bleed into the next game.
Which I mean, it very well could because the game doesn't come out. It's not like the game's coming out before the show's over. Right. They haven't even announced it.
Right. And again, to a lot of people that might be a little confused, if they were to meet up, it would be before the events of the last game. But we're saying it would be
it could be after the events of the last game.
Why not?
This takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. Remember, he had only just become active. Cal Kestis.
Let me see. When did
he disappeared for how many years after that?
That's what I don't remember.
I didn't hear you.
He was a Padawan when that happened, like
when Revenge of the Sith happened, right? So he was about maybe 12, 13 years old.
So I'm saying he's older, obviously. So how many years?
Which is why I said it would be after, because
I don't know if it's 10 years.
That's 5. So
after.
That was 5 years. That was 5 years after. Jedi Fallen Order was 5 years after.
Okay, so
we don't know how much of a time skip is going to be between the end of Fallen Order and I think the new one is going to be called Survivor.
Right. We don't.
We don't know what type of time skip there's going to be, but that's why I'm assuming it would be after that one, because remember when all the story of Fallen Order, he hadn't seen any Jedi until essentially he started remembering his
but I'm saying what the reason why I think it could work that way and narratively fit to where it doesn't change anything. Obi-Wan doesn't have to make himself known as Obi, because if you're Cal Kestis, you don't fucking know Obi-Wan. Like,
you don't think he knew who Obi-Wan was?
Not at all. No. Mm-mm.
He knew of Obi-Wan though.
I know, but to a lot of people, you've never seen him. Like Obi-Wan is one of those myth names. But like a lot of people have seen Yoda, but not Obi-Wan.
Because I remember
like he would have. He was a Padawan during the time of the Purge.
He was.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I believe that he could have been active, but had never crossed paths with Obi-Wan. He's heard about him because there's no way you don't hear about Obi-Wan.
My thing is that I remember hearing a message from Obi-Wan in that game. I just don't remember if he saw him or not. I know he heard the message.
No, yes, you heard the message. The message was played. You heard it, but there was no visual of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Don't remember if he saw him.
I'm trying to remember who his master was.
Oh, his master looked just like what's his name from Rebels.
Yeah.
And I think that was created. I don't remember him from the lore at all.
Jaro.
That's what Jaro to Paul, whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember him from the book lore at all.
I don't remember.
We know he wasn't in Clone Wars. We know that for a fact.
No,
yeah. But that's what I was gonna. He definitely
was the second time I saw a creature like that.
Right, and if we're being honest, Star Wars: The Clone Wars did make it seem like there were 10 Jedi. Like, you saw the same rotation of Jedi. Actually, I'm sorry, it seemed like 5 or 6 at certain points. So who knows?
His Jedi Master was technically served in the Clone Wars. But no, we never saw him.
Yeah, I was about to say anyone that was an active Jedi at that point served in the Clone Wars. But who were you? That's what
I'm saying. Yeah, we definitely never saw him.
Clone Wars introduced us to a lot of pointless Jedi, and we still know.
Right.
What were you saying, Joel?
I said so is this guy, Kanan Jarrus. He was a Padawan during the Clone Wars too.
Right.
And then they attacked his master.
I was curious if they had put any type of lore that his Jedi Master had ran across either Obi-Wan or Anakin. Because then I was gonna say, then you kind of gotta assume
here's
they
the
saw
thing.
each other, and they didn't.
Here's the thing: they could have. We don't know, but because they didn't connect it at the time, we don't know. We don't know.
He at least met Anakin, so they did talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But so because I'm checking it now, it said that he briefly spoke to Anakin, so I can even say that they had like long conversation. But that's when Kyle Kestis was behind him and seeing it.
Right.
But they were also at the knighting ceremony, so it's a lot. I don't know. I now we're just getting into the weeds of things.
Yeah, we're in that hole.
Right where I said I didn't want to go to.
Right. But look, Kenobi comes out next week. We get 2 episodes. We'll know very soon. We'll know
for sure.
Soon.
6 episodes, right? All together?
6 episodes, yep.
I was hoping they changed it.
And shout out to that photo or that magazine they released today of the future of Star Wars. I've never seen an album cover look sexier. I'm sorry. I just haven't. I've never seen a better album cover.
I read that whole thing too.
Oh my goodness. Joel, if I had a chance to read it, I would have. And you know I am allergic to reading. I would have read that shit cover to cover. Like that's how beautiful that looked. And look, the whole plan is to bring that whole enchilada together. That's all I want to see. Bring that whole enchilada together.
Television, basically, is what that all said.
Wait, say it again.
So the focus is going to be more on television. That's basically
right, as it should be. Yeah, we said that. We said, and again, Kathleen Kennedy did say that Ryan's Star Wars trilogy is on hold, not canceled. It'll come at some point, but he's busy with Knives Out and his Netflix deal, so it won't be soon.
With what's her name's movie too, a whole.
Yeah. I kind of feel like she's just saying that movie's probably never going to see the light of day.
Wait, which movie?
But Taika is next up. What's her name that directed Wonder Woman?
Oh, the Patty Jenkins one. I thought that got canceled for sure. I didn't know she came back. I didn't see that one.
No, a lot of people believe they got canned because that was what was going around. But Kathleen saying it's just on hold.
What they said that stood out to me in this was that they said any director they bring in has to be committed to staying on for like 4 to 5 years,
right?
To see it through, because it's not just a one movie year in year out type of thing. You gotta marinate, and you gotta like make sure everything connects. And
she's essentially saying, "Fuck what Warner Brothers is doing with one-offs. We want to build a continuous universe that's just forever."
It's already one continuous universe,
right? That's what I'm saying. You're just in different timelines, but you're not in a whole new universe. The timeline just expands.
She also doesn't seem very open to recasting.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You might have to, because the day Ray comes back, it'll be a very tough cookie to get 2 of those actors back from that franchise. So you might have to.
I don't know if you're getting Ray back, to be honest.
I think Ray might be the easier between her, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaac.
I don't think I can't.
Unless they tell John Boyega he is the lead Jedi of whatever movie you're coming up with, it might be virtually impossible to get that motherfucker back.
Right.
But she also said something I thought was very interesting that I didn't like, that they're going to go away from recasting OG characters and go more into the digital aspect of just replacing them.
Yeah, I think that's why Joe had brought that up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying they're just gonna recast. I'm sorry. I took. I
said she's against recast.
Got you. I'm sorry. I just heard that wrong. I apologize. Yeah. To me, here's my thing. If you're still looking to use OG characters, that's your problem. You need to get out of a space where you're still stuck in the same time zone of the same characters we've seen for generations now. You got to move outside of it. Move forward. The Mandalorian works, but unless you're giving me a Luke series, I don't ever need to see Luke or Leia again, ever again. I do, because that's some of the greatest storytelling of Star Wars. Mira Jade and Luke Skywalker, fucking brilliant.
But she's not canon anymore.
No, who told you that?
Oh, I thought she wasn't.
No, Mira Jade's still canon. She's still canon.
I missed that.
Watch your mouth.
But what
is she in?
Huh?
What is she in?
What do you mean, movie or
that's
cartoons
canon right now? What's the shit that?
Oh, no. They were just saying she's still canon of the world that existed before, just in the book. She's still canon.
I thought she. I thought she was when all of that when they switched to Legends.
Yeah, because remember the big not rumor, but the big fan theory was that Mira Jade might have been Rey's mother.
Right, I remember that.
That was going to be the connective tissue.
But she hasn't been in any of the comic books, so like, where is she still canon?
Well, I mean, they haven't done a lot with those characters outside of Vader. They haven't really done anything.
Yeah. So what he's saying is though that's probably why I assumed that she wasn't there. So I just missed when they said no. Yeah, she still is.
Mm-hmm.
She is based on word of mouth.
Based on the fact that no one ever said that Mira Jade wasn't still canon. And they've said that for literally everybody that's not canon. They've said it for Starkiller, not canon. No one ever came out and said Mira Jade's not canon. They just haven't written any Mira Jade books. Because to me, if you're not writing a Luke book, there doesn't need to be a Mira Jade book. Like, they go hand in hand. I don't really need one without the other.
She don't exist. That's how I look at it.
Well,
that's fair. But to me, I kind of feel like once you still see that Luke's world exists, the possibility of using her at some point is still open.
Like, they have the opportunity to use her, cool. But until then, they're like, they'll make someone else up. Like they have the opportunity to do that too.
Oh God, please don't make up a love interest for Luke. Don't do that. Please don't.
I'm assuming they were just going with Luke never had any type of love interest.
Ooh. I kind of feel like you're already doing that with fucking Kenobi. And even that we appreciated seeing fucking Duchess Satine. We're like, God damn, did he ever get the beak wet? Oh, he did. Duchess Satine. Perfect. Good. God damn. To me, if they never do anything else with Luke, I'm fine with that. I'm just saying, to me, kind of feel like once you've opened that door and your whole premise of your two biggest characters right now with Ahsoka and Din is right in the heart of Luke's time. Like right in the fucking heart of Luke's era. Like that's the biggest fucking Luke era ever. And you're about to introduce Thrawn. You fucking think Thrawn existed and Luke was just like, not my problem. So it's like
I would like to get away from the same. As much as I love the Skywalker family,
I don't disagree. If you were to tell me
if
you were to tell me Luke doesn't get his own solo series, I wouldn't be heartbroken. But to me, if you're digging into Thrawn, you can't ignore that Luke is still there. Like, I don't want to see that big Thrawn battle and there's no Luke. What the fuck was he doing? Like, there's no other threat. Who is he fighting?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only. Once you introduced him, that cat's out of the bag now because you didn't have to introduce him. You know what I'm saying? I could have just went, Luke's off doing shit. Understood. But now that you've shown him and Thrawn's on the way,
Luke that's fair. It makes sense.
Be back. Yeah. I agree with you in the sense of he doesn't need his own show. I won't disagree with that. And I am with you. We do need to move past the Skywalkers. Once I get my Vader series and then Luke series, we can move right past those two. We can move right past them. Just leapfrog right past them. I'm telling you right now, it will not fulfill my Vaderism just in these 6 episodes.
We got full. There's gaps, but that's what Star Wars has been, the story of Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need a series?
Because now you're finally highlighting. Because look, think about it. You started the Star Wars franchise with a mildly retired Vader, right? Like he was on his way out. Then you give me the start of Vader, like literally as Anakin then just becomes Darth Vader. Now you're finally showing me that time, that era of vintage Darth Vader. And I'm only getting 6 episodes, let alone maybe just 3 of that shit.
Okay,
open the door
I can understand
bring Starkiller back, open the door up a little bit, expand.
I can understand that. And like I said, I don't want to get into the weeds. This is what I wanted to not do.
I need Starkiller. Make that mofo canon. Bring it into the Vader series.
I can understand that. I guess I wouldn't be 100% opposed. So
that's Sam Witwer come back as Maul and Starkiller.
He would never come back as Maul. When they were theorizing it for what you call it, they were talking about him just being the voice and Rey just being the body.
I don't see the point of Rey coming back after last time.
Well, that was what the original concept was. That's what Rey was talking about. He was like, I was just going to be the body.
I know Rey had other issues he has to worry about. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no, but that's what I'm saying. That was squashed well before that came out. But to me, I kind of feel like if this series ends with no Darth Maul, We don't need to see Darth Maul again. We could assume it's just we've now passed the time where he's died. Starkiller hasn't had his chance in the sun yet. Let's get Starkiller up in this bitch.
Be told by the time we get that chance.
Who? Sam Witwer?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Starkiller. I'm like, what? This is literally in the height of Starkiller. What are we talking about? Oh, but Sam Witwer? Nah, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Make it happen, Sam. But all right, guys, that's all we got for you on this all-new episode of GVN Sports. Like I said, we gave you all your sports. We gave you all your geekiness. We appreciate you guys. Stay tuned. I almost said this Thursday. Oh, shit, yeah, this Thursday for Figure It Out. And then this Friday for GVN Talk. I'm like, what is Thursday? I'm not used to when Marvel just randomly rips a Wednesday away from me. Now I'm just like, a day is missing.
By the way, Jimmy Butler had 41 tonight.
Look, Jimmy Butler. And look, Jason Tatum only ended up with what, 30-something?
29.
29? Oh, shit,
Yeah.
29. There you go.
That just tells you one thing. We're going to get a lot of Skip Bayless the next day.
Oh, Skip Bayless is going to just go
I'm so glad I
wild
don't
on
watch
it.
that.
Goodness gracious. But all right, guys, I want to thank Didge and Joel for joining me as usual to break down everything in the sports world. And until next time, guys, peace.